This podcast episode is sponsored by WePrintWraps.com. If you're in the wrap industry and don't have the capabilities of printing your own wraps or your printer's down, head over to WePrintWraps.com. Less risk, no overhead, wholesale printing, no minimum, guys. Use offer code all wrapped up at checkout and save yourself 10%. You got till January 31st, 2018. Don't forget, all wrapped up at checkout. Save yourself 10%. And don't forget, orders over $500 is free shipping. Head over to WePrintWraps.com. What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of All Wrapped Up. Our guest today has shown us that he can take a vehicle wrap and turn it into a piece of art. He's won numerous awards, like being crowned Central Region Wrap King for 3 years straight with the Psycho Hurricane, the Joker Lowrider, and the Because Merica Twin Vets. They don't call him the Professor of Graphics for nothing. Please welcome Kevin Kempf. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to All Wrapped Up Podcast. We'll be interviewing industry-leading wrap companies to share tips, tricks, stories, and more. Start now. We're going to go live. We've got Kevin Kempf from PG Nola. What's going on, Kevin?
Not much, man. What's up?
Not much. So where do we get the name PG Nola?
PG Nola stands for Professor Graphics, New Orleans, Louisiana. The original company name started, it'll be 14 years this April, was Professor Graphics. Professor was my nickname back from high school. So when I went to college and all of that good stuff, we just kind of, I don't know, I just thought it'd be a cool name and went from there.
That's awesome. And Professor's always stuck with you because you still use that till now, right?
Yeah, it's always been my nickname. I've been an artist since I was a kid, drawing, I mean, as early as like 4 years old, which kind of funny. My mom tries hanging up artwork and shit from back when I was like a kid. And she tries to get the frame. My aunt owns a frame shop, so she came in here one time with like a Garfield I drew. It's been folded a million times and stuff, and yeah, she tried to hang it up in the shop before SGIA when we knew we were having a bunch of people here. I'm like, nah, man. Professor name just kind of came just as some jokes and stuff back in high school, and it stuck. And I mean, most of my friends still call me Professor. And before anybody in the rap industry and vinyl industry knew me as Kevin, actually, they only knew the Professor. I was, I gotta say, I stayed, I won't say low key, but I was big on not having my face on social media.
Yeah.
So it was always, you know, the Professor, or the Mad Lab, and PG Nola as a team, not an individual. So many years, it was just the Professor. And people, I mean, when I go to SEMA and SGIA and RapsCon and all these events, you know, even my homies, they all call me Professor. Very few of them call me Kevin. So it's been probably, I've been in high school since 94. So I'd say since sophomore, junior year, I've been called that.
Yeah, I remember when I used to follow you way back in the day, social media wise. I just remember seeing, you know, the Big Bird with the Mad Professor on the side and the cool graphics. That was your thing back then. You've changed that now since then, right? With the Bird?
Yeah, the truck, unfortunately, we've only driven it maybe 3 or 4 times since about this time last year. We started cutting the back out and doing some custom tail lights. I have some Cadillac style lights that are 6 foot tall, 7 inches wide. Big Bird's making a comeback, and I'm trying to hit show season this year all around the country. We go to Texas in mid-February for the first show. We're supposed to go to a show in Alabama called Battle in Bama. One's called Orange Beach Invasion. I mean, besides it being my company truck, it's always been, well, once my accountant told me we can write it off. I remember the first question I asked him, I said, well, look, I want this red truck. It's actually an old DHL truck. That's what started in yellow, and that's how I got the nickname Big Bird, because it was just big ass yellow thing. And I said, look, I know what body style and everything I want, but before I buy this thing, how's it going to work when I go to put an air suspension on it and speakers and custom lights and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, are you using it to promote your business? I said, yeah, it's a delivery vehicle. It's a daily driver almost, you know? He's
Right.
like, you can write it all off. And so next thing you know, it's bagged and laying body on the ground and got some dope white walls. And, but, yeah, it's making a comeback this year. I have the new wrap completely designed. Um, the only reason it's not installed yet is because I'm doing custom headlights. We're actually molding in 2012 Jeep Liberty headlights into the front end.
Wow.
Um, because that truck, you know, you've seen pictures, it's completely boxed.
Do you do a lot of the fab yourself?
I do a lot, but I'm blessed to be part of it. Well, know a lot of guys down here that do custom fab work. So my tail lights were made by a good friend of mine. He works at a machine shop. They're all stainless steel. I got 2 levels of 1/4-inch stainless, like literally die cut out with PG Nola logo. It's going to be my reverse light. But like I said, these pieces are 6 foot by 7 inches, and they weigh a ton because they 1/4-inch stainless. But I do a lot of. I'm pretty mechanically inclined. I can't say I can build everything, but I've tried enough shit on my own vehicles to that when I've messed up, I know what not to do. But you know, it's kind of one of the things you never know until you try. You know, so
Exactly.
I do a good bit. I do a good bit of fab work, but at the end of the day, if there's something I know I can't do, um, I call out to a friend and I give it to. Well, I have to be ready by mid-February, so in a month's time.
So have you updated the inside? What do you got going on the inside? Because most of the pictures I've seen, you've always got like rolls of vinyl from like floor to ceiling.
Yeah, well, that photo was taken actually when we moved from the old shop to the new shop that we're in now, and that was more of a joke. It was well, we needed to move the vinyl, but it was more of a joke. And right now it's basically it's everything's the same. We're going to add some new RGB LED lights, which we had before, but technology and lighting from 8 years ago versus now, and what I could get my hands on, there's a big difference. So
Right.
we're gonna add some more RGB lighting. We have the same 4 speakers. Believe it or not, I've gotten pulled over more with that vehicle than anything I've ever owned,
Right.
as far as sound system goes, because it's got like four 619s and a 10-inch woofer, and the 10-inch woofer is probably 10 years old. And
Wow.
but it's built into the center console, so it looks like it's like them old traditional vans, them old '70s vans with the wooden cup holder and a little hump in the middle for the motor cover.
Yeah.
It's basically that's what we have in the inside, but ours was extended a little bit and it houses a woofer, but nobody realized that. And since it's an all aluminum truck, there's no padding like a door panel or interior with fabrics, so the back door is open and the side door is open, and that thing's cranked up. You could hear me from like way down the street. It
Oh
it, it
my
actually
God.
it actually hits pretty hard. It's pretty obnoxious. So yeah, but it's fun, man. It's the inside's probably gonna stay the same, but the outside, like I said, we got new headlights, new tail lights. My former employee, Easy, his brother does artwork with metal and welding stuff, so he made me these traditional New Orleans style wrought iron mirror holders,
Yeah.
but they're like twisted and they have like these really ornate pieces that are welded and just something that you see it, you're like, okay, that's New Orleans, but it's custom mirror holders for the side. So, yeah, it's a bunch of pieces that we have and, you just gotta wait till the headlights are in, and once that's done, we're gonna put it back together. And I even have big old film visors that go above the windshield like an 18-wheeler has that gives it that mean kind of eyebrow look.
Yeah. I love that stuff. You know, how many, you said you've gotten pulled over a lot of times. You know, they should know you by now. That's just who you are. That's a statement for you.
Yeah, they do. And then now I kind of knew, like, I'll drive up the road with it cranked up. And so in the last year, we haven't driven it that much, but it used to be, I'd say 4 days out the week, we drove that thing. And so when I know I'm coming up to certain red lights or certain areas where cops are known to be hanging out, that's when I put down blocks ahead because, I mean, one cop literally was waiting for me in the street when he saw me coming, like, 'cause he must have heard me from that far away. I'm looking at my brake tag, my inspection sticker. I'm making sure all my stuff's legit and not out of date. He pulled me
Right.
over. and he told me from the sound system, and yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh man.
I've gotten pulled over for all the lights. I got a ticket one time that said excessive multitude of lights while driving. Yeah, dragging, like, so I used to drag the back bumper and shoot sparks. I still do that, but yeah, I got a ticket for riding too low on the interstate one time.
Oh.
Um, yeah, a lot of stupid stuff, but it's fun, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. If you ain't having fun, especially being in the rap game, with the different colors you can do for it, it's part of you. You know what I mean? You can't get away from it. It's instilled in you.
Yeah, everybody's been kind of, I don't say begging, but keeps bringing up the original rap with the professor on it, and then the other character I had, which we never did name. But those I'll say this: those two will be back on it. They were actually both characters were drawn after me in various stages of my life. So at one time I used to have long, spiky, wild ass hair, and I kind of looked just like that. So this that was in my club days, man.
Yeah, yeah, we've all been there. Tell me what you got going on in your shop right now for projects. What have you been working on this week?
Um, we got kind of a full house right now. I have a brand new Lexus LC 500 that we ceramic coated today, and I'm waiting for my tint guy to get here to do a ceramic window tint. Um, I have a Jeep 2017 Jeep Wrangler that we're doing a custom camo pattern that I created, all with a matte finish. And then I have a Volkswagen Bug, brand new, it's straight from the dealership, a Volkswagen Bug Turbo, which is pretty dope little car, I gotta say. Even though it's a Volkswagen Bug, but
Those
um,
things, those things go pretty fast. I had a friend of mine that bought one a while back. He had to get rid of it because he got too many tickets.
I gotta say, I haven't really driven it much, but like, I mean, just besides in and out the shop, but just a little bit of get up going in and out, and little things that are in the inside, just the way it's designed. It's a convertible, man. It's pretty clean, I gotta say. And Volkswagen, we just finished up 4 Volkswagens for the local news station WDSU. It's actually their Mardi Gras parade tracker vehicles that Volkswagen also donated to them. So they're using them for the Mardi Gras parades, and they're turning them back. But one thing with a Volkswagen, man, they got the best backup cameras in the world. Like they like crazy, like 4K video, and it's kind of wild. I was like, when I put it in reverse the first time, I'm like, holy shit, this is
Right?
like I just used the backup camera, man. It wasn't the foggy stuff.
Technology nowadays, you know what I mean? Now with the backup cameras, you don't have to look back or anything.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just, it's incredible. Tell me about what you got going on for 2018. You had posted something recently with getting some new equipment, possibly a printer, laminator. Tell me about what you purchased and what type of plans you have with that.
well, we got an HP 365 latex. We got a Mistral 1650 laminator and a Suma T160 plotter, the Class 2 plotter with the camera, what they call it, Cam Op or something like that, that special
Yeah.
camera. But we got that. It's something that I've been wanting to get for a long time. We've always subbed out work for 13 years now. But with that said, and for the new year, there's so many things that we've been offered from people just around the world, be it camo patterns or certain print styles, like from certain artists in different organizations, that we've been offered the opportunity to wrap or mass produce and do all of this kind of stuff. But even though our outsourcing people are incredible to us, it's something I never really wanted to push for 2 reasons. The main reason was, I mean, I'm booked till like second week of February already, so I'm always booked out with wraps and design work and whatnot. So I didn't want to bite off more than I can chew, and so I'm promising, like a camo wrap. I didn't want to have promised, okay, I could do X amount of kits for, full four-door vehicle and whatnot.
Right.
And even though I'm outsourcing and I'm not doing all of that, if there's an issue, I don't want to be the middleman trying to fix an issue. I'd rather be the first person, you know.
Right.
So if I sell you a kit, I want you to come back and yell at me. I don't want to have you yell at me go yell at the printer, and you know, vice versa. So it was a lot of that, and it's time for me. It's time for PG Nola to take advantage of the stuff we've been offered, and I'd like to think we built up a pretty good name in the industry, and we brand ourselves well, but I know we can brand ourselves even more. And with this new equipment and the other things we have lined up, it's just I guess the best way to say it is PG's Nola trying to do PG Nola for once, and not really it's not about nothing else. It's we got to put food on our table just like everybody else. So I'm terribly ADD. I procrastinate on some stuff. I mean, dude, I got notes written on my hand right now. So, while I'm working and stuff, so and sticky notes everywhere. Like I should own stock in 3M, but I don't like them that much. But if Post-it notes had a stock,
Right, the Post-it notes don't make you money.
yes, that's the thing. Myself, because I have so many notes on my desk right now. But we got a lot of stuff working on and lined up. And of course, having machines in house, it's going to help with situations like the Rapid King stuff that we've done and custom crazy stuff. So we're blessed to use two guys in particular that will print on anything and do whatever we want. But at the end of the day, if I send somebody a $2,500 roll of chrome and they're testing to do my idea, and I'm not sitting there with them and they're wasting, I can't blame them. I never will blame them, but I'd rather be the one sitting there next to it, watching it, and being able to stop it and like, okay, well, I need to tweak this, tweak that, because nobody is in my head. Nobody knows what my final vision is supposed to be or what I would like it to be. So, I want to be able to try and just, I won't say waste material, but I want to be able to do that and just walk upstairs to my new production room and go for it.
Just make it happen. Yeah.
There's so many things I've limited myself on up to this point and actually scaled back because I respect the friendship I have with my main two guys. They're awesome dudes. I can't thank them enough. And it's one of the things, so at the end of the day, I can't ask them to stop what they're doing for me. They have both own companies within production. They have, clients of their own, and they take care of me. They always have. If I fuck up a panel, I can't call them up at 5 o'clock. Oh man, I know you close at 6. Stop what you're doing, print it, overnight it. I want to be able to do that stuff in house. So it got so much of that has built up over the years that, finally had to do it. So that was kind of a Christmas present to ourselves.
What made you choose the HPs over kind of everything else that's out there, the Mamakis, the solvents, eco solvents, and all that stuff? What drove you more to like the HP?
We've been printing on the local shop we use has been printing on HP latexes since the first ones, which were 26,500s or something like that,
right?
Or 25,500s, and ever since then, personally, I think the print comes out better. You get better colors with especially with like grays and stuff. I mean, on the old Rollins, I remember grays would be greeny or blue or purple. And I personally think they do stretch a little bit different.
Yeah.
But pretty much the biggest thing now, as of today, the biggest thing is the cure time. It's printed, it's done. Half hour later, 20 minutes, and right off the roll, we can laminate pretty much.
Right.
There's no 20-hour outgassing and whatnot. And that's the main thing. But since those first ones came out, we've been printing on latex, and my two other guys, everybody uses the latex. So I've become comfortable with it. I know how to set up my files, how to do certain things, and create and get certain colors I want. It's just been refined. Yeah, I've never really been big on solvent, man.
No, I heard it keeps the color a little bit better when stretching, media and whatnot. I personally can't vouch for it. I've never used latex. I was an eco guy. I ran a Roland for a while. I knew my limitations as far as how far I could stretch it before I, turned it. But then again, I have installed HP prints, and it has laid pretty good for me. I've never had an issue with it. I always like to get everyone's opinion as far as what they like, what they don't like, because there's so many options nowadays. You know what I mean?
I guess it's been so long since I've tried a solvent that I really can't say it. Once you have something you like, just stick with it and kind of, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing.
Right.
But with that said, Avery did ask us to test some digital media recently, and I think one was definitely on a solvent, but I want to say it may have been like a flatbed or some kind of crazy, like a new UV ink or something. That's what they were testing on one of their new films.
Mm-hmm.
So we tested, and I noticed that when the UV definitely didn't stretch nearly as well, but that's the whole purpose of them testing these new inks. And, it was basically the same, I don't know, maybe 8 foot by 16, 8x5 piece, printed on three or four different inks and seeing which one, how they hold up. And we just pretty much use and abuse that shit to see, stretch it, heat it, and distort it and whatnot. But, yeah, I mean, I'll install solvent. I don't say I don't. We actually install a lot of graphics for people around the country, advertising companies, other big design print firms. That's how I met John Duver and with Vinyl Images, St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
I've been installing stuff for him, I'd say, man, 7, 8 years now.
Wow.
And I remember, at one point, it's funny now because 3 years ago was the first time I met him in person. It was at SEMA with the Paint As Dead guys had a big house in Vegas, like a nice, just big ass nice house. And I used to do so much work with John. I actually had his credit card on file, and at the end of the job, it was one of the things that the van or whatever it was showed up, and if it didn't have the graphics in it already, I had them shipped to me. So showed up, I did the wrap, all commercial stuff, out the door, ran his card, 24 hours, in and out, done, paid. And when I met him the first time at the Paint As Dead house, we cutting up and everything, and I think we went out that night, and people were buying shots and drinks. I said, "Oh, I got this round," and he's like, "Oh man, thank you." I'm like, "Well, you paying for it?" He's like, "What you mean?" I said, "I got your credit card on file." And just kind of clown with him and everything, and so you don't remember that? I've had it for like 5 years, and he joked, he's like, "If you could pull off that where you don't give them a card, but they'll run my number, you're more than welcome to use it." And I'm like, "Okay," but
that's awesome.
When I get a print, I really don't ask. Like I have something for 360 wraps coming in tomorrow. A little, I don't even say it's a partial, just a bunch of overlays.
Nice.
I don't even remember what it was, Transit or something like that. No, a little Kia Soul. That's what it is. So, I don't ask what they print on or nothing. The only time is if they say like it's, temporary wrap, like with Mardi Gras coming up, I have some jobs coming up where it's 24 hours in and out.
Right.
So I do ask sometimes, and, if it's walls or floors or, whatever, I ask, but for the most part, I'll install it. The only thing I do hate, and I'm sure a lot of people listening will probably agree, is when you get that big digital print and it's one big panel, it's all laminated. I mean, laminated, it's all pre-masked, and you're like, you know what? What's the chances that this is
not laminated?
Yeah, not laminated and spray lam from like Lowen or something. And I'm like, oh, geez. And I remember the first time I did one, I sat there and I was like, what am I doing? Like, why is this so thin? Why is a little bit of heat and it stretches and it distorts and the color, and I'm taking rubbing alcohol to try to, clean it, and it's eating away at the ink. Like, what? I'm like, what am I doing? And I'm thinking, and I just think, I'm like, how is it really that much cheaper to do a spray lam versus a regular lam? I mean, really, what's the price of a kit now? A whole kit laminate vinyl, two something a square, maybe two something a square foot.
Right. And how do you even
So
spray it equally throughout the whole thing without getting dry spots? I mean, no matter.
I've actually seen. There's a guy out in Slidell, which is about 60 miles from New Orleans, and he used to do a lot of camo wraps. And he put them on. He started off with good film, and he kept getting cheaper and cheaper grade film. But it was basically a roll to roll thing, and yeah, it just went through. Picture a silk screening oven,
Yep.
but on a larger scale. And inside that oven, instead of heaters, there's little misters, and it just went through. And as it went through the mister part, it went through a heater part, and it rolled up, and it was done. That was it.
Oh
And
man.
that's what I said years ago. So
I don't understand how people do that. I've seen trailers done like that, all masked with overlaps. I mean, I can't even. You couldn't pay me enough to put it on.
yeah, yeah. Luckily, I don't get in. When they do come in, I'll call up and I'll try to talk my way out of it. I just like, man, I don't have time for this. Like, it
Uh,
really does. It really does make your life that much harder.
it does. And you know what it is. It's probably more of the case that you know what I'm not putting it on, but I'm making a killer on the print. Who cares what the installer rate is? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? And the one I did was the probably last one I did was 3 years ago. So, well, 2.5 because we've been here 2.5 years. And I remember asking a bunch of my brothers in the mob in one of our chats. I was like, and that's when I asked them, is it that much cheaper to do spray lam? And they're like, it is a little bit cheaper, but what it all comes down to is they know they don't have to remove that.
Right.
And I've actually had to remove some before, and I want to call on the client. I was like, man, look, I'm like 10 hours in, and I usually charge $75 an hour for removals, and you're just better off just buying a new trailer.
Right.
It's
You
yeah,
think?
I'm still in the back door, and
Oh man.
and you got a 24-foot trailer, so um, unless you let me sandblast this bastard, yeah, it ain't happening.
It's staying on. Yeah, that's the case that you just wrap over it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. And I've had to do that before. There's a bunch of temporary jobs and stuff like that. Um, I've done plenty of just wrapping over it. As long as it's cleaned and anybody that's going to go through and that will let you just wrap over whatever, they just want the big image.
Right.
They're not worried about that, perfect corner, perfect, perfect rounded edge, all of that. They're not thinking color change. They're thinking, okay, this is a tractor trailer that's going 50 miles an hour down the road at a time, or a container that's sitting on the side of the road. I just need to get advertising on it.
Right.
They're not worried about that. So
How often are you doing commercial stuff? Because I mean, obviously, anyone that pretty much wraps, are throwing pictures up of the exotics or the cool jutes that are getting wrapped. You know what I mean? Just color changes. But how much commercial stuff are you doing as comparison to the color change stuff throughout the week?
well, I actually do a lot of commercial. That's what probably a lot of people don't realize, just because we're known for the color change stuff. But before color change really picked up, and I'd say in the last 4 years, we were probably 90%, 10%, 90% commercial, 10% color change. And then it probably did a flip. And now, yeah, we probably 60 color change, 40 commercial.
Really?
Um, and we do it. The thing is, there's a lot of stuff we do, and people are like, oh, you don't post it, you don't do this. And I told myself this year I'll try to stick with posting once a day, which is I haven't been good at. But
But you're killing it with the videos. I
yeah,
love your live videos, man. Between you and Tate together doing a video collab, I thought that was super cool.
yeah, Tate's my boy, man. That's a brother from another right there. He's a dude. That's another thing that I have on the agenda I really want to streamline being able to read people's comments on live, be it Facebook or Instagram while I'm working, because as cool as it is to watch and I'm sitting with the headphones on and y'all are just watching, I want to be able to interact or have my youngest son, Cody, come in and read off, questions or what. I want to be able to interact a little bit more. Um, like I tell everybody when they ask me, oh, well, all he does is, nice fancy cars. And I have a lot of old clients I've had for 13 years. Like they don't even want to bother with me for doing the business cards or the banners or the signs and stuff. They're like, oh, Kevin's too busy. All he does, Corvettes and Ferraris. And I'm like, no, like, so the difference is if I post a E350 van wrap that I just did, commercial wrap, it's going to look cool. Yeah. So, but how many likes or how much love I'm going to get from that E350 compared to a Callaway Corvette?
Right.
Custom paint for the wheels and window tint and lights. Like, come on. I mean, that's why I post a little bit more. Now, when I do, wall murals and floor graphics and yeah, when I do big stuff, yeah. Or if I do like a fleet of E350s, yeah, but the everyday thing that I could get done in a matter of a few hours, it's not, I don't know. It's not that I don't want to share it, and it will eventually go on our new website. And I'm gonna try to have pretty much every job we do on our website get, automatically updated to the site. But
Yeah.
yeah, we do a lot, man. I do signs, I do banners, we do business cards. Right now, I won't take on I don't even do logo design anymore. I won't take on any like paper printed stuff like brochures and club flyers because that's kind of what I got our foot in the door when I first started was I was friends with other guys that own or ran the nightclubs. I used to do every week, 10, 15, 20,000 flyers.
Mm-hmm.
Every week they got a different DJ. So, they pumping these things out and I work for like all the big clubs in New Orleans. So that got my foot in the door and helped me grow and continue. But the vinyl, I mean,
The vinyl pays the bills at the end of the
vinyl
day.
pays the bills. It's fun. It's fun. You hand somebody a flyer. Most of the time they're going to throw it on the ground. You don't see a flyer driving down the street. Then I got tired of typing in all the text, man. Like brochures, I despise those things now. I don't have time. Like everybody, even with the vinyl side, they'll approve it, and they're not really approving it. What they're doing is approving how pretty it looks or how good it looks.
Yeah.
Whereas in reality, I'm asking them to proof it, and I don't print until I have the words "I approved" in that email. But they get it, and it's like, oh, you get this misspelling or that misspelling. Well, you have an approval right here. I'm sorry.
Right.
Oh, I was approving that it looked good. Okay, well, this is a medical document. I'm not a doctor. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I spelled this wrong or that wrong. I don't even know how to say the word,
Right. You just, copy and paste. Good old Google,
And I used to try to make it easy. I'm like, look, the easiest thing for me, I use Illustrator. I'm a big, all Adobe guy. Type it in a Word document, type up exactly what you want. I'm a copy and paste it in the Illustrator, and then I'll set my margins and do all of that. But yeah, vinyl's where it's at. It's just my passion, and it all started from drawing a Garfield character when I was like 4. And
yeah, your mom's still holding on to that.
Yeah, she's got a whole bunch. She actually has a couple in her office that I did in high school that I told her she could have in her office, but I don't really want the rest hanging in the shop. But I never did think I'd be able to work on some of the cars I've worked on and basically make a vehicle my canvas. Definitely blessed to.
Tell me what your favorite project was that you've done so up to date. What you think has been your best piece of work?
Best piece of work.
You got a lot out there, so.
I know. Well, I know a lot of people are going to think, of course, the Psycho Hurricane, or Huracan that we won Robert King with in 2015. I'm very, that's an emotional car because my son was a big part of it. Shit, I'm gonna tear up now. That was probably my biggest accomplishment, as far as a single-handed rap. But I've had just as much time and effort put into a lot of other ones.
Yeah.
That are still just as meaningful. And I guess what really I've been doing raps for 13 years, and people knew who I was before. Actually, and then once that thing hit and blew up, obviously we gained popularity and more people knew who we were, and we're getting more jobs, and people from around the country are shipping us cars, and it's great. But it's also a lot of pressure considering now we gotta keep keep doing that, and it's not about the install part; it's about the keep surpassing the design thing. So I'd say it's probably the Huracan, the Psycho Hurricane was probably my favorite. Just because like I said, it's got a very personal meaning to me and my son.
Right.
And then my two former employees, a good friend Wade that I call my brother, and then my boy Easy that I'm still good friends with. And like one of my good friends told me, Marcos with Rap Specialties, he told me, and this is after the Joker car from Rappler King the year before, and this probably what makes it mean the most. I did the Lamborghini for my client, and I gave him what he wanted. So I didn't see it as that. I saw it different, but when I lost with the Joker, it's exotic, which hands down was incredible. I mean, me and Nick from Exotic are good friends.
Yeah.
Mark was like, you shouldn't be really upset. You got to look at it this way. Because first, you created a car last year that literally set the bar in the industry and changed everything when it comes to the color change rap game. I mean, what you did, you now have the most famous Lamborghini Hurricane in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It will always be there. It's been photoed and documented. And even though the car was burned to the ground, it's the most famous Lamborghini. And what you did changed everything. And he goes, the biggest thing, Kevin, is remember this. In 2016, you built a car to beat the Huracan, like to beat the Lamborghini. You built a car because that's what you had to do. But when you did the car before, you simply gave your client what he asked for because you did your fucking job.
Right.
And that just kind of put it all in perspective because that's really what happened. If it wasn't for my Painters Dead and Mob guys and my brothers, I would have never entered that contest. I was never into contests. I never did. That was my first contest I've ever entered. And they were like, dude, you're nuts. You're nuts if you don't enter that car. And I know the work I put into it. I mean, the last day of design, I spent 13 hours on a Sunday designing it. I remember that last day like it was yesterday. Just my son, he came in at like 5 o'clock in the morning to finish. He was hand laying KPMF laminate on the spokes of the wheels and pinstriping, and dude, like he wanted to kill me too, but he was there, So we missed 2 flights to RapsCon because of pushing it back, and I gotta say, I've done a lot of cool stuff, everything I'm happy with. But that day, it was in the shop for 3 weeks total. We had it for like 10 days just for me to do design work, going in and out the office to measure it and whatnot. But man, when we pulled that car out and it hit the sun for the first time, and it was a beautiful day with no clouds, like, dude, I started crying. I was like, holy shit, like, and we all started hugging each other and grabbed the beer, and, like, slammed the beer. We're like, damn, man, like
One of a
cool.
kind. One of a kind. You'll never see that. Well, you'll probably see it again, but never like the way you did it.
Yeah, and I've been asked dozens of times to, people want that file or to, me to print the file and ship it to them. Like, that's one thing I won't do, and unless the owner of the vehicle that I did the rap for will sign off on it. Everything's got to be different. I could create anybody something that looks like the Huracan as far as wildness like that and a bunch of colors, but it won't be that car. Just been a stickler on that, but yeah, I'd say that one, and then the Joker was pretty awesome. We've done one called Deathstroke. Each one has its own little meaning to me, man. Most people don't realize PG Nola is pretty much a one-man show. I do all the installs, I do the design work. I have a couple little helpers here and there. They come in, but I'm doing I'm doing a lot of it myself. So, as much stress I put myself through and working crazy 43 hours straight or, just pushing myself hard and like about to fall out as I'm trying to lay vinyl. The second it's done and it's back together and hits that sun, then I'm like, okay, I forgot I just worked 43 hours straight.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a second wind.
it's a second. Yeah, it's all about the client's face, man. When them clients, when you open up that front door and your bay door and you drive that thing out and they outside waiting, and to see their expression, man, I wear glasses. I always told myself I want to start getting glasses with a little camera in them, and film clients' reactions when I open up the door and roll out the car.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. Because I know you have a little bit of a following too on like YouTube. You have a few videos up of prior jobs. I watched the video that you guys created for the Joker, which was kind of like a scene out of a movie. She's kind of looking for you through the offices and then slams you up against the shelves, taking the Joker car away. I thought that was super neat. Just like little things like that just makes a difference. It just puts things in perspective and kind of changes the game a little bit. Instead of being just a regular video, it's, taking it that far kind of makes it all worthwhile.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. One of my real good friends, Andreas, he has a production company, and he's been on my ass for years to just start doing, like, he's been wanting to do autobiography, not an autobiography, what's it called? Not just an interview, with a documentary. He wants to do a documentary about PG Nola, and he's always wanted to interview me and do bits and pieces, and he always gets on my case because I'll film a lot of my own videos, and it's just me walking out with a cell phone, or a little stabilizer or whatnot. And when the Joker came around, I'm like, you know what? Let's do this, man. Let's do like a full production, and we've never done something like that. So I started calling all the people that say they'll do anything. I'll always be there for you, kind of thing. I'm like, okay, well, look, time to
shine. Yeah.
So yeah, we did it, and I got every car in the video was a car that we've done before. So that was cool, calling up old clients and, hey man, you might mind if I borrow your Rolls, your Ferrari, your S63 or GTR or whatever. And Joker video was cool. Me and my boy Easy put an insane amount of work into that car, and I was very happy with it.
Yeah, talk to me about a lot of that stuff, because you've got all different types of chromes, and this goes back what, 2 years ago, give or take.
Yeah, it was the Raptor King 2016 entry. It's got 13 different films on it, all Avery. Some of them are custom made by mixing Avery laminates with like their I don't want to call it Starlight, but it's their silver metallic flake laminate.
Yeah.
But it has silver leaf, it had red diamond line, silver diamond line. We made green diamond line, we made purple diamond line, it had black chrome, silver chrome, green chrome, purple chrome, red chrome. It was insane. Be honest with you, it was 100% accident that car happened.
Really?
Yeah, my boy Todd that owns the car brought it to us a year and a half before that, and he fell into some hard times, and he wanted to get his car painted, and he didn't have the money. So I was like, we're lucky enough to be a tester for a handful of color change vinyl and even digital media guys. So a company had been talking to us back and forth and wanted to give us first role in a world of a certain color. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm big on a color has to fit the car.
Right.
As far as if the client's going to let me do something, like a yellow Camaro looks cool. A yellow F-150 don't look that cool.
Yeah.
So I knew the color, and I started reaching out and made a post on Facebook and Instagram. Like, look, I'm looking for an old school. I prefer like a Lincoln, old Lincoln Continental, Cadillac two-door, one of them big 30-foot long tanks, or an Impala or a lowrider, So my boy reached out to me, came in, and the whole idea was to do it with this color, do printed graphics, and be basically the promo car for that color and that brand. And ran into some issues with the film. It wasn't working like it was supposed to, so I kind of pulled back. he didn't have somewhere to store it at the time, so I let it. He wanted to just sit in the shop, man. And he come and work on it and stuff like that. Then it was funny because when we moved from the old shop to the new shop, it's probably about maybe 10 miles at most. Um, and at the time we had the same car that was a Psycho Huracan, and so we had 4 days to rewrap it and do wheels and tires and everything and get it on a trailer to go to SEMA that
Wow.
year with a different wrap. So we had the Lamborghini with no bumpers on it, just headlights and taillights. The Joker, which was just the base car with no bumpers, no headlights, no taillights, just looked like it was just stripped apart.
Strip. Yeah.
That same photo of Big Bird with all the rolls in the back. So we had those three, and then we had a U-Haul or two U-Hauls and some trucks with all that stuff. And we took every back road from the old shop to the new shop because I didn't really want to pay for a tow truck for the other two. And on that route, we had to pass in front of two police stations. And so my boy Uzi's Spanish, so he's driving the lowrider. That's, a lowrider always has that little natural hop. It's because of the cylinders,
Right.
He's driving that, smoking a cigarette, hitting switches, and I'm driving a Lamborghini. And they said they all have. Well, the Joker didn't have no lights or nothing, but the Lamborghini had the lights with no bumpers. And yeah, it basically sat at the shop, and Avery reached out to us with the new laminates. They had a green, orange, and a purple for the chromes, and they asked us to test it, and they gave us some material. And usually they have anywhere from a month to probably 3 months or so to test the product, and they want you to test it, video it, film it, give them feedback. And we're coming up on that deadline, and somebody from Avery reached out, was like, look, we need something by the end of the month. And again, I was like, well, man, I did orange on the McLaren, a McLaren 650 we call Deathstroke, which has a video on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I got purple and green left. Like, you just can't throw purple and green chrome on any car. It has to, I don't know, it has to fit the car. Will it look cool on almost any car because it's chrome? Yeah, but
It's
I'm
gotta
also not
fit.
trying. Yeah, it's got to fit. I don't want to shoot. I'm not. It's one of the things. Chrome's expensive as hell, so I'm like, I don't
Right.
want to just. I don't want to waste it. So we're looking in the back, and the Joker was sitting in the back in the shop, and my boy Easy's like, man, well look, the Joker shouldn't be that hard of a car, to lay aside. It's pretty flat, not a lot of hard radiuses and whatnot. So you know what, hell with it. So set up GoPros and filmed it for Avery and did the whole side. And we wound up doing a roof in purple too. And then we took it off. And so let's try the green. And we did the green. And when I picked up my youngest one from school, my little man Cody, he walked in and he's like, man, what y'all doing? Is that the Joker car? I'm like, what? The Joker, purple and green. And at this point, this is when they first started doing Suicide Squad promos and stuff. Everybody knows Joker's purple and green. I'm like, ah. So, at the same time this is happening, I'm thinking, well, I do have to come back strong with something for Rap Like a King. I want to go back to back title holder, And
Yeah.
so I called up my boy Ty. I'm like, look, I just need a little bit of help from you, but I'll invest the extra time and money if you let me do this. And he's like, what you want to do? And I just laid it all out for him. And he's like, go for it. Like, I ain't gonna stop you. My car, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah. So, but there was, I won't say catches, but there was limits, set by both of us, after it was done, unless it was paid for, it can only stay on so long. And there's a whole bunch of stuff involved with it. So, yeah, that was done. And I'm like I said, I'm terribly ADD and I'm OCD too. And it's, once certain things got laid, I'm like, okay, well, it needs more. It needs more. It needs more. As, as somebody that designs and installs himself, I had this vision in my head, and it's terrible because my boy Wade and Easy, they they laugh and they try to pull the reins back on me all the time. Like, oh, dude, dude, are you serious? Like, are you serious? Like, you really want to do the door jams? You really want to do the dashboard? Come on, man. Like, I'm like, dude, we coming back from a Lamborghini, like, how do you one up something like that? And that's pretty much where it got to. And I was like, well, if we did a Lamborghini first, people are going to expect something with a crazy wow factor after.
Right.
So how do we one up that? And that was a very nerve wracking thing to think about. And I said, you know what? We have a 63 Impala with hydraulics.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wraps lowriders. Lowriders are all paint. Let's let's go buck wild here. Let's do this, man. And the rest is history.
That's unbelievable, honestly, because a lot of people don't know unless they really see pictures of the front that the interior was wrapped, and just the details, just the little things like that. I mean, the car looks like it straight up came from like, you know, late 80s, early 90s, airbrushed, with the crazy colors and the embossed roof. It just looks unbelievable. You would never think that was vinyl in a photograph.
Yeah, and I gotta say on my YouTube probably the most. Some of the comments on that video, we got beat up by some guys, and I don't ever take nothing personal because at the end of the day, I'm not here to please everybody. My company's not here to please everybody. If you want a hot pink leopard skin wrap, I'm gonna do a hot pink leopard skin wrap.
At the end of the day, money's green, right?
Money's green and the client gets what the client wants. So I I actually always respond back with a positive thing. Like first, like thank you for taking the time to watch our video. You know,
Yeah. Give him a quick jab.
yeah, but I try not to be I do really try not to be a dick, but I'm like, at the end of the day, man, different strokes for different folks. What you think is cool might not be that cool for me,
Right.
and vice versa. And within the last week, I think, yeah, if you go back and read one of my recent comments, a guy kind of, he wasn't too negative, but he just a lot of lowrider guys are just like, oh man, you just ruined a perfectly good car, and lowriders are supposed to be paid, and just kept talking, and I responded back polite, and the guy actually responded back to my response, and he's like, man, and let's see if I can pull it up while I'm on the computer with you, but he's like, the fact that you're not taking it personal, and it was cool his response and how it's like that's awesome. You're not taking it personal. You're respectful of the art form because I got to give you credit. I don't know the first thing about a rap. All I know is a sticker pretty much. So there is some talent with that, and that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions with this
The industry.
with the industry itself. I have a lot of great friends, really good friends that paint. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm a Paint is Dead member. I'm a mob member, and paint will never ever be dead. Paint will never fucking be dead.
Right.
When I first started really pushing Paint is Dead, when I became a member, I don't know, 4 years ago, I was one of the first members. Um, I got beat up by a lot of friends. Oh, you can't rap this, or you can't. But now they're seeing what I have rapped, and there's certain things I get painted.
Right.
I won't lie. I'm not about to try to be this cowboy and one piece this thing, which that's actually one of my notes I brought up from one of the other podcasts. The Cowboys had just tried to do these one piece things, but I tell them Paint is Dead is a brand. It's a marketing thing. It's a network of elite rappers and great guys. So paint will never be dead. I get you to paint stuff and you get me to rap stuff. There's some things that can be rapped that you can't paint. There's some things that can be painted I can't rap, vice versa. And it's kind of my response to some of these YouTube and even Instagram, things. And I say, at the end of the day, if somebody wants to pay me X amount of money and I rip it off the next week and that much more money again, I'm gonna do it. I might not like having to rip off my hard work, but hey, if they're gonna keep paying, I'm gonna keep doing it. So
it's what keeps your doors open,
Absolutely. I'm trying to find this comment while we're doing this, but it's because it was very cool how this kid responded, and just he didn't take my response as a jab. He's like, man, that's very cool of you. To come back and say what you said. I don't know. It was just cool. Let's see. Yeah, this guy Vinny, he's just like 2 weeks ago. He said, "PG Nola, I respect you guys for being very open to criticism. It's not an easy thing to do and not take it personal. I admit I don't know the first thing about raps, so maybe I'm missing the point. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. I do like the buying delivery truck though. Talk about big. So, but yeah, I mean, I've got used to it over the years with people not liking not necessarily just what I do, but the industry as a whole. Um, I actually have emails and voice messages and whatnot from the Lamborghini. I mean, I had people telling me, "Oh, it's like throwing ketchup on a Picasso, and you just ruined a perfectly good car, and you need to go to a mental house because you're insane for fucking ruining a car." Like, I got bashed by a ton of people.
That's crazy.
And I'm thinking like, okay, this dude just did it for, first, if you have the money to afford a Lamborghini, that's awesome.
Right.
It's awesome. Second, if you have enough money to afford that Lamborghini, to afford the wrap, for me to powder coat the wheels, to do the window tint, to do the RGB LED lights that flash everything, all the vents and whatnot, and you get tired of it, and you're only doing this for one race, for Gold Rush Rally, and you might keep it on a few months after, and you're going to rip it right off and have me redo it. What problem do I have with that? This is my business. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. And that's exactly what happened with the Huracan. You know, the Hurricane, we did it. We stripped it off and we redid it for SEMA. And it was out there, and people were like, "Oh, I wish I could see the car." And I tell them, I was joking with everybody, like, "Oh man, it's out there. It's at the Monty Forge booth." And you go over there, it's right next to the American Force booth. And they go out there and they see this Lamborghini. At the time, we called it the White Widow. It was all pearl white with all kind of crazy stripes and a red chrome roof. And they're like, "Well, where is it?" And I'm like, "It's out there. How can you not miss it? You know, it's a Lamborghini." He's like, "Well, there is one, but this one." But they're like, "Well, no, we want to see the Psycho." I'm like, "Oh, dude, that rap's gone, dude." Like, so
That car, definitely game changer for sure. How many hours did you have completed on that?
dude, I'd be lying if I told you. I'm pretty good about keeping track of time on a lot of things. Like this Jeep, for instance, that I'm tearing down now, I time how long it takes me to tear it down, and then I'll time everything. And I really have to pull up the spec sheet of all of it. But with something like that, once you get panels laid, then it becomes the details and all the edges and your nooks and crannies and the extra stuff, the extra mile you go. So that's when I lose track of time because I'll redo stuff over and over. I mean, I've told numerous people this with the Corvettes. I did those 2 Callaway Corvettes this year, all chrome solo, and I reprinted half of one bumper because the bumper was split. I reprinted one bumper 5 times before I got it right.
Ugh.
So I don't build a client for that, but as a designer, you know, like yourself, you know, when you're designing, you can see that fender blend, the design from the fender blend into the bumper, but in reality, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So first bumper, when I tried to lay it after the fender was laid, it just didn't match up and stuff like that. So, that's where time really gets thrown out the window. So I will record what it takes me to lay that fender, that bumper, the whole thing. But if I'm redoing it 5 times, I'm not recording that at that point. You know, like that's just a trial and error kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, it's unbillable. You know, that's insane. What are you using for programs to get that cutout for the seamless looks? Because I saw the video you had posted up with building those Corvettes and the detail, and you specify that you wanted to go with that seamless look. What type of programs are you using in order to get to that? Because a lot of these templates out there, whether you use the bad wrap or vehicle template outlines or any other one out there, which ones are you using in order to get your designs, proper?
Well, on for the Corvettes, I actually used it may have been a bad wrap one, but I believe I got it from my boy Scott Skeppel. I think he sent me just for a mock-up. He sent me that because I did the vest before. The year before, I did a partial wrap because the owners were new to wraps. They knew about commercial wraps, but not like this level of like color change stuff. So
right.
The first one I did, the Mr. shit, what's that? The vehicle outlines, the traditional Mr. Clip Art.
Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about. Just kind of silhouette, no real body lines in it.
Yeah, Dirk's site. So I used that on his first one, and it was easier because it was just solid colors. But they really want to step up the game this year. So I got Skeppel sent me a template for the vet, and I started from there. But when it comes to like the Corvettes or the Joker or the Lamborghini, the Huracan, having a car, I had the Corvettes in for like 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks before I even touched them, because we had to take the old wraps off, and then I want to get them detailed and get them cleaned up for the guys before I even touch them. But like I explained to them, like I'm looking at a picture of the Corvette right now. From the top of the fender well, the rear fender arch to the first body line might be 12 inches, or
Wow.
not even, maybe 8 inches, and then it rolls another 16 that you can't see on the one-dimensional or two-dimensional screens, you know. So
Right.
I explain it to them, and I'd show them proofs, and like I'd show them these flattened versions. Basically, it was an aerial shot of the car of the roof, but then the sides blow out, and then the bumper blows out, and so it's like if somebody just put their King Kong sat on the car and blew everything out. So it'd be like that. I'm like, okay, this is why this line is going to blend in here and this and that. And, you know, I told Justin Pate this when he interviewed me after at SEMA after the Rapper King thing. Um, if I showed, well, my client probably approves 90%, 99% of the first proof I send them, as far as like the initial concept, but it's the crazy hours I put into after knowing, oh, let me move this star here a little bit. Let me move this shadow here, or move this up or down. I know where I'd like it to land. I want
Right.
it to land into a vent or a louver or the rocker or whatever, you know, and that's the little stuff. And, you know, Justin even asked me about billing. I'm like, well, at that point, once they approve it and they've already paid their deposit for design, I kind of throw that out the window, because that's just me refining it and getting it to where it is. And even though it kills me, and I always say I'm gonna die doing what I do, it, once it's all together and it's seamless, and this edge matches that edge, and this bumper matches the hood, you know, from the fender to the hood to the bumper, and it's all that's because if it didn't flow, my client just might, they'll probably never pick that shit out. But
Right.
you know, oh
Right.
man, it's a red, white, and blue chrome car. Like, wow, you know. So
But you take that to heart, you know what I mean? When it comes down to those little small details, like a lot of people just think, oh, you're just putting a sticker on. No, that's a canvas. That's as if you're, painting a picture, or Picasso's painting a picture, or the Mona Lisa. It's my canvas. It's my name, my brand, and those little quirks that you do prior to printing, and your paneling. That all that stuff takes time. Just even paneling, you you kind of bill it in, but sometimes it might take you a little longer. The panel stuff, look at the bumper. You had to go back. It's not just reprinting a back bumper. It's now you have to realign it and figure out, okay, I got to push this particular stripe back 2 inches, and the other side I got to push it 1 inch, because both sides aren't 100%. They're within a half inch, but those are the little things that people don't understand take time. And then on top of that, you're using material, which is the most expensive material you can possibly buy. And it's just trial and error, and it's, you never get better unless you fail at things. You know what I mean? That's just how it is.
I agree 100%. Last year when Pain is Dead and Mob had their first rap party, their was world. Yeah, no, not RapCon. It was at SEMA, a worldwide rap appreciation party. Yeah, last year it was the first year we had it, and there was a couple of kids, younger guys in the industry, came up to me and were talking to me. And, I'm not. I don't know. I think I'm fairly. I think I'm pretty humble and laid back, kind of calm and quiet. I mean, when I'm with my boys, it's a whole different story. But when somebody comes up and like, tells me, "Oh man, I've been following you. Admire your work. I look up to you." And I'm like, "Nah, dude. I'm a dude that puts on sneakers, bro. Like, blah blah blah." And I sat and talked to a few guys, and they would ask me questions and all at this event. And pretty much everybody's like, "Well, how did you do this? And how did you learn this?" I'm like, "Man, let me tell you how many thousands or tens of thousands of dollars I've wasted over 13 years of just screwing shit up."
Mm-hmm.
And really, I'm like, yeah. I said, don't expect, man. If you expect to just grab your first chrome wrap that's printed and beast it out, it's not going to happen, man. So just don't get down on yourself. mistakes happen. If you can't bounce back from, some of the obstacles and you get upset, you're like, oh, screw this, I'm never doing this again, then it's not for you. But if you come back and you do it, I can't be that person to live with what what could have been if I would have did it versus me doing it and failing. I'd rather do it, fail, waste the money or ruin the material and say, you know what, now I know what not to do, or I'm just not ready for this. I can't handle this yet. Versus 2 years from now, somebody doing it, and I'm like, shit, I did this like 2 years ago, but I gave up on it. I don't want that in my system.
And nowadays it's people just want to get there. You know what I mean? It's easier now to just buy a printer, start production, and get started. But it's all the little things you have to learn: how to profile something, how to color management, and that is very expensive. When you get into wrong colors when you're printing and you're kind of new to it, it's tough. In training, I mean, I know you have some certs too. What type of certifications do you carry?
Oh, I got Avery. I have, shoot, I might have to walk outside.
Got them all posted on the wall.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to pull up a picture. I'm kind of scatterbrained right now. I have Avery. I have 3M preferred, 3M Dynoc, 3M knifeless, I'm very proud of that one. That's a gnarly test. Anybody that thinks they know knifeless and vinyl, dude, go take that test. That's a gnarly test. I have Orifol. I have a good bit. I'm trying to see. Let's see here. I have to open up Bridge. Yeah.
Well, not only have you stood the test of time as far as trial and error, but you've also gone out and actually took these tests and passed these tests and all that good stuff. And that's where I'm getting to, like with the younger generation. It's some of them may not want to test and try to get those secrets right from the get go, to get to where they need to get. And it's tough. You gotta do those wrongs first,
Yeah, I'll say this, and I've listened to every one of your podcasts, and I've actually, I know I joked around with you, texting me and messaging, talking about my notes. But I want to say this, so I've been doing this for a while, and no matter how much I've accomplished in my life, at one point I was really against certifications. I didn't think you needed them. I didn't think they made a difference. Some of my best friends and some of the best rappers in the world may not have one certification. Now, with that said, people that now with everybody having training classes and doing, apprenticeships, I think apprenticeships are great. Hands-on, is incredible. I taught my boy Easy from the ground up. He came in as a photographer, a kid I met through Instagram, and I trained him and took him under my wing. That's awesome. But I went last year, and within 30 days, I have all 3M certifications: 3M Preferred, Knifeless, and Dynoc. And there's always that class can be $1,000. There's always that one trick you're like, shit. How did I not know this? Like, wait, where's this been all my life? And it could save you 20 minutes, but then 20 minutes on this panel and 20 minutes on that adds up to hours. Hours add up to money, that kind of thing. So, I was always against it. And even my first Avery test, I failed. And I remember meeting Justin Tate at the airport, and I've told several people this story. When I went to go take my first Avery cert, it was at Icon Wraps at Adam Ship's old place in, was it San Antonio? And at this point, I had hundreds of wraps. I mean, boats, cars, trucks, you name it, I did it. I was pretty confident. I wasn't cocky, but I was confident,
Yeah.
I'm not big a written person kind of test, but, hands on, yeah. And I want to fail at it. So I was pretty bummed out. I literally flew in to take the test, fly out. I didn't need the training part. The stuff I failed on was stuff I know I could change. It wasn't nothing crazy. saw Justin Payne at the airport after, and he talked to me. We actually had lunch and a beer, and he's like, I can tell you have passion for it. You really care about it. If it got you this upset, it shows, that you really care for what you're doing. I've seen your work. He knew who I was before, and he's like, just keep on pushing, man. Give it some time. You can come back and take the test. Just give it a few months, and all of that. And I want to go back and smoke the test, and I got it. So, but at the same time, I gotta say this, when I didn't think certs were worth anything was also when raps weren't such a fad like they are now, like all trendy and, the millennial kids, they just want a quick buck and they want to be a millionaire by the time they're 22 kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't think certs were needed was at the time they wasn't around. So now it's kind of coming full circle, I think personally, and I know a lot of other older OGs in the industry think this. For me, as doing commercial, when people are starting to know about rap, the general public's learning more and more about raps. They've seen bad raps, they've seen good raps, but more and more people are doing research and trying to educate themselves before. Just like when they go to a body shop or they're buying, furniture or they're going to do research, a TV, whatever. They're doing more research. So when they go to somebody's website and they don't have any certifications and they have the same jobs with the same Photoshop drop shadow and beveled edges, and the general public is slowly gaining with that. And also the reason I got more certs and I'm trying to get more is because in the big picture, commercial pays the bills more than color change. It's all about the square footage. It's about what you can lay and all of that. So I would personally rather get an account for AT&T nationwide because they found me through 3M or Avery's website.
Right.
Because these big advertising companies, these big ad agencies, these big print shops, nationwide print shops, they're not going to Google to find the best rapper in New Orleans or the top rap shop in New Orleans. They're not just Googling vehicle raps New Orleans. They're not doing that. Guys that have 100 or more cars are going to 3M and Avery. They're going to their website. They're talking to a rep, and they're like, "Okay, who's your author? Your certified guy in that area." So all these people out here that are bashing certs, hey, stick to your color change if that's what you want to do. I do a lot of it. I'm not going to knock either side.
Right.
But if you know a little bit of both, and you are certified, you're willing to put that dedication and show that you took that test, you went through the trials and tribulations, and now AT&T wants to reach out to you, or Capital One Bank, or whatever, these nationwide companies that are doing mass fleets or whatnot. That's that's what I want. I want that. Don't get me wrong, I love doing a Rolls Royce all day long, but one Rolls Royce or 100 Sprinters. You know what I'm saying? So so certs have their way. Like I said, I don't want anybody to think I'm bashing not having a cert. Like I said, some of the best rappers in the world do not have a cert. I know a lot of them, and some of them are very good friends of mine, but they are slowly stepping out and getting these certifications. And it's going to become a separation. I don't say separate from the rest. To me, it's better for me to have personally. I guess that's the easiest way. I feel more confident. Just like anything with any other certification from different manufacturers in different industries, it's more stability with your company, more ground to stand on when other people look at you. I mean, SGIA came in town back in October. I couldn't tell you how many people called me to go rap in their booth or do this and do that, but I could bet you a lot that they didn't just Google, vehicle rapper New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
But at the same time, having an apprenticeship, doing an apprenticeship under somebody that does rap and has been doing it is good. But learning from your peers, taking the time to learn, don't be YouTube certified.
What this is a trade. It's people think, oh, you just put a sticker on, and yeah, you are, but it's more than that. It's way more than that. And having calling it a trade as opposed to anything else, you need a certification. If you're a carpenter, you have to get certified through the state. You know, if you're a builder, you got to get certified through the state. Why can't that be any different when you're a vehicle wrapper? I mean, granted, you don't have to be certified. They don't like tell you, hey, you have to be certified in order to put a vinyl on, but it just puts you on a different pedestal. And if everybody was on that pedestal, I think the wrap industry would be a little bit more, I don't know what the right word would be. Don't want to bite my tongue here, but it would just put everybody kind of on an equal playing field, so to say. Everyone's got a cert, everyone knows what's going on, whether it be Avery or 3M, and kind of just start from there. But, I mean,
Yeah,
I come from nothing. You know what I mean? I was self-taught. No one really taught me the wrap industry. I had to teach that on myself, and even the digital, the wide format printing. I went through 6 months of wasting rolls and rolls of media, to try to get the right color I wanted. It just trial and error. But,
well, yeah, and that goes back to what I was telling these young people, these young guys coming up at the rap party was, you know, I told one of them and he kind of laughed at me. I'm like, you know how many times I've thrown shit to the wall to see if it stuck?
yeah.
And he's like, and he just never heard that term. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm not saying if you have the extra money to just go blow, 5 G's on whatever, but, again, I can't be that person that thought about it and didn't want to try it. I'd rather fail, and I failed a lot in life. I failed a lot in my rap career. I'll say this: one of my biggest mentors is Jim Miller, and he is the OG. He's the godfather of raps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Miller Decals. I mean, we used to joke around with him about using he created his own paste and as adhesive and just clown him and stuff, but. He came to FGIA, and actually, take it back. I went up to see Phil with Knifeless in Canada. Me and Jim went up there to help him do some projects, and I forgot what we were working on, but I did some technique or trick, and Jim's like, "Wait, what you just did?" And I'm like, "Wait, say that again?" Like, you asking me a question? And there's something him and Phil didn't know, and I'm thinking like this is the Godfather, man. Like I just schooled him, I just taught him something, and it's Justin Pace says it, never stop learning. And again, I've seen people that don't have certs that do some incredible installs. It's just I think it's more of I won't say just millennials, but it's the kids that are coming up that are wanting to be the fad and the trend and the quick buck. And I started off just like I wasn't trained back 13 years ago. They didn't have vinyl wrap training. I trained myself. I've lost, I did a lot of damage to myself as far as waste of materials and whatnot. So they didn't have that back then. And I can't knock a kid for working out his garage. But if you're 3 years in and you're still working out a garage or in your driveway, that blows my mind when I see these guys knocking out cars in their fucking driveway.
Yeah.
Like
a hobby.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It becomes a hobby, and they're deteriorating the market by doing these $1,200 wraps. And we all know what our vinyl costs,
right?
And it don't know what it costs. It's all about the talent and what goes into it. Yeah, you might be able to get away with a mediocre wrap and please that one client that's paying $1,200, because at the end of the day, he's going to go, oh, well, what about this corner rolling, or what about this? And you're like, okay, well, dude, you just paid $1,200. So a lot of that mentality is going on. And when people say, well, man, you quoted me $3,500, I could get it for $2,000 here. Like, well, power to you, brother. Like, yeah. I'm here to put food on the table, and like, oh, well, I know a roll costs this much. That's cool. And I said, well, I know how much a camshaft costs. I just bought one. I'm not about to put it in.
Oh, shit.
I could go buy stucco and grout. I don't mean I'm doing my floors.
Yeah, right.
So, it's a touchy subject nowadays, especially with everybody on YouTube doing training videos that, they've never been trained themselves.
Right.
And it's not that they're not, I'll say this, it's not that they're not teaching some good techniques or even proper techniques, but I guess it's more of the misconception is the best way to say it. When you walk into a shop that really isn't yours with, crazy cars and all this, like, I don't know, it's the, what they call it, or the smoke and the mirrors kind of thing, you
Right.
know? You, you're trying to convey something that really isn't reality. Um, that's kind of what my biggest problem really is, with that kind of stuff. And, you know, I said, I taught Jim Miller a trick one time. I mean, that's like, I'm gonna
Mind
go to
blowing.
yeah, and I still tease him about that shit. So, you know, you never stop learning no matter all these certs. You know, so I'm looking at him. I forgot I had Arlon. I'm a SOT French soldier. I'm supposed to be going to Germany in May for like 2 weeks with SOT.
Germany,
Rapid fire.
how's that trip?
They don't really get too many details. There's only like 20 something, maybe 30, they call French soldiers around the world.
Wow.
And, I'm one of them. My boy, Tate in Miami, South Florida's one. Matt Walensky, the tallest rapper alive, is one. Jeremy Connors one, and Rick Fedor from High Tech Raps is one. All my boys. So yeah, we're supposed to do this big crazy thing. It's like a top secret thing until we get to Germany, and then we're gonna go to Festa out there too, and I'm also Oracle certified too.
Wow. So you got all the main
Yeah,
distributors.
I don't think there's. I mean, there's like Lowen, but I don't. I'm not gonna. I don't. Yeah, I got all that what matters to me.
What does 2018 hold for you, PG Nola?
Oh shit, man.
Threw you a curveball there.
Yeah. If everything I have on my agenda or my to-do list, my goals list can happen, then PG Nola is going to be. It's going to be pretty impressive. Um, like I'm giving myself, like I said, scheduled dates and like goals. So, but with me being so ADD and bouncing off the wall, doing 50 things at once, it's always been my problem. But I'm like, I need to change stuff. But I have a lot of things in the works. I'm hoping to release a couple colors. Um, there should be other products or whatnot branded PG Nola in the future. It's time for PG Nola to do PG Nola, man. We've been given too many opportunities and some very awesome people in this industry, and we've been treated very well. So anybody that's ever met me and talked to me knows I'll try to help anybody. I've even offered to help enemies at times. And I'm just trying to, honestly, I've tried turning a new leaf this year. I've called up a lot of guys that I've disliked or had disagreements with that I didn't really, I get upset or just like, screw down, blah, blah, blah. I've spoken to pretty much everybody before the end of the year, kind of buried the hatchet. And, at the end of the day, man, life's too short. I lost my son at 17 years old. His 18th birthday was this past Saturday. Um, that changed a lot in my life. And I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk no more, man. Don't get me wrong. There's still people I probably don't, I dislike, but hate's never been in my heart. I can't really say I hate anybody, but what am I gonna get? I kind of use this scenario. It's like when you meet a new girl and her boyfriend hates you. He hates you for no reason. He hates you because he hates her.
Right.
So you could be out one night in the club and he sees you and he gets mad, he beats you up. You're still gonna go home with his girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? His
Mm-hmm.
ex-girlfriend. Still going home with her. She's gonna make you feel right. So it's twisted of a mentality that is kind of the same way, man. Like there's no sense in losing sleep over not liking somebody and letting that slow me down and put stress on my body. People are gonna do what they're gonna want to do regardless of life. If they don't like you, they don't like you. If they're going to do this, they're going to do this. They're going to stab you in the back. They're going to stab you in the chest. They're going to look at you in your eyes and do it. So let nature take its course and be what it is, So if anything, in 2018, Kevin and PG Nola want to kind of start fresh and take advantage of our situations that we've been given and really, really try to blow it up, man. And just because we're quiet, we might not post every day, or you might just don't let that fool you, man. I promise you that. There's a lot of stuff in the works, but you trust me, it takes every bit of energy out of me not to want to post some of the stuff I've been working on. It kills me. It
Definitely.
kills me. Yeah.
You're just
Yeah,
like,
man,
I just want to get these comments.
and that's Yeah, that's definitely something.
Oh man, unreal. Yeah, sounds like 2018 is going to be a good year for you. Turn that new leaf, and yeah, it's not good to hold that stress on. It's just negative tension. Nobody needs that shit. So,
Yeah, that's what
good
man.
piece of advice.
Yeah, look, I do want to say, I know you said you need to, probably need to cut it because I know we probably were pushing like 2 hours or so, but, I like to talk, but,
No, it's all good, man. We're only at an hour and a half. This is nothing.
oh, okay, cool, shit. Well, I said, I took some notes on some stuff and this might sound crazy and I ain't trying to be a dick when I say some of this, but,
No, let's
uh,
talk. Let's talk. Keep it going, man. It's all good.
I'm gonna go ahead and because I'm actually gonna be speaking for other people that have reached out to me, not necessarily because of this podcast, but in situations that they don't feel that who they are or they haven't built up a name to be creditable, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, I've tried some wild stuff. I've done one piece mirrors and antennas and bumpers and whatnot. And I like to tell everybody, like, look, the real pros will play it smart and seam that shit. Don't get me wrong. We will try to one piece everything we possibly can. But when when you take a front bumper apart and you get all the plastics and the louvers and vents and whatnot, and, like a front end on a Tahoe, man, I could surely heat the hell out of that fog light indentation and push it in 8 inches. But
Right.
I know I've been long enough. I know it's not going to stay unless I just cake it with 94. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you see all these guys that are on Instagram doing one piece Vivid or Tech Wrap or these Chinese brand films in one piece. And I just, it's not going to last. You know what I'm saying? It's not. So if they do, hey, brother, more power to you. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
the longevity and any guy that's been doing it for long enough will tell you, man, if you do a scene the way it should be done, it's pretty much not visible.
Right.
If you hide it the way, you use your body lines, hey, don't fight against yourself. I would rather not have a Viper come back because of one piece of bumper, or I'm trying to think of cars that like have crazy front ends, like a Viper. So I'm saying that big T in the middle. That's all. I know people that have one piece like that whole thing and said no stretch, no distortion, no nothing. Yeah, come on, dude. Yeah,
Bullshit.
even like a GTR bumper. I've seen one piece GTR rear bumpers done, but I think Chuck even mentioned it. Man, take the bumper off. You can do it with one piece.
Right.
And let me say this. Let me back up. It depends on the film too, but man, why not play it safe? Do your buckets first and your tail lights.
Right.
If you see, that red chrome Ferrari we did a year or two ago, that thing was probably 8 pieces, that rear bumper. That client didn't know until I told him a year later, and he had to go walk up to the car and look at him. So all the guys that come up and try to be these, we all call them cowboys in the industry. Like these one piece cowboys. Man, that's cool. It's cool, but 6 months down the line, a year down the line, when stuff's pulling back, I really don't want to have to take that bumper off, tear it down, remove the vinyl, remove that primer that you use. Play it safe. It's going to last its lifetime. You know what I'm saying? But antennas are different. I'm talking about bumpers and, crazy stuff like that. But,
now I seen a cool trick. Like I'm willing to share here, which I haven't done a shark fin antenna in quite a long time. I saw a cool trick was that, they pieced a little, maybe ½ inch across the top of the shark fin and then wrapped the two sides and just had 2 seams on either side, but they capped it in the middle. You know what I mean? Does that sound?
Wait, say that again now?
So on the shark fin, it swoops up and then it has the fin and then comes back down. It's almost flat on the backside. What they did was they wrapped the 2 sides, right? And then just capped the middle with an overlap, like a little tiny ½ inch piece. So they did. Yeah, I thought that was super cool. I don't know where I saw it. It might have been an Instagram post of something. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, and he did it. He did it pretty, you only have a minute to post it, but it seems like a no-brainer.
yeah, and I can't think I've ever tried that. I will try it again because some shark fins do have that flat ledge on the top
Yeah.
versus some of them are like a radius. Like I just did a Hellcat last week, and that one was more of the sharper point. But what I did was laid the back piece, that back flat part first, and then just wrapped up and over, and then trimmed it so your seam is, I guess, well, the back side of it, because that was almost a flat, like straight up and down flat. So you really can't, with the right lighting, you really don't see the seam at all.
Right.
So, you know, it depends on how, if I could take the antenna off and all that too.
Yeah,
And,
those are usually a pain in the ass to get off too.
yeah, I tell you what, I made a note about your secret sauce thing. You asked about your special tips and tricks and whatnot. And, I'm not going to give away a lot of my stuff because it's stuff that I've wasted a lot of time and money and material on. But man, the word template, people need to learn that.
Yep.
People need to learn how to template. And I'm not talking about design. I'm talking about a crazy insert you have to do. Let's just say that Tahoe, which I despise the 2009-ish, 11-inch front end, the Tahoes, the front bump on the Tahoe. They had that big half-inch divot and big
Yep.
crazy spark lights and all that. And I told myself this a while back, man, grab some painter's tape, wrap that shit in there, and I took a Sharpie, marked it where it ended, where it started, took it out, like I made a cut, unfolded it, and laid it on a table. That created me a template. That now I know what that exact shape is.
Right.
Lay that on vinyl, cut an extra half-inch on all the way around. Now you're not taking one square or rectangle and trying to force it in to become a circle, so to speak, because it's all round on the inside. Now you can take it and you have one seam and you just hide that seam at the top and the middle that's underneath the bumper that you can't see unless you're laying on the ground.
Right.
So, yeah, little tip for some people that
Templating, man. It's the little things. How often do you keep those templates? You make a little folder for certain cars just in case you get them back?
Dude, my office, like behind me right now, has templates for rims, like accents on wheels, a Super Duty F250 truck for that hood, like the impression on the hood.
Yeah.
I have some upstairs, and what I started doing was cataloging. Like I just did an Escalade, for instance. I did two of them one week. One we did a complete blackout in and open up the headlights and like everything was murdered out. It was dope. But the other one, when I did the mirror was multiple pieces. So after I peeled the vinyl, I saved the liner and wrote on the liner, driver's side Cadillac Escalade this year. He wrote what part of the mirror it was. And so now I have like a little folder, but over the years I've had stuff just sticking on the wall, so I could go back. Like with the Joker, I had stuff sticking on my wall for a long time on I templated the side pillar where I had my pillow embossing, or the template on the back glass. Anybody could design something on the computer, and you're cutting it out of a rectangle, but to make that thing fit where it's supposed to fit. That's the game. That's what separates you from somebody else, which is another reason I highly respect the guys at Nick and them at Exotic, down in Australia, man. I think when it comes to templating and what they had to do on their rat rod, was it the Toxic Rat?
Yep.
And their low bug. Very, very, very few people in this industry realize what it takes to do that level of templating to print it, and when you stick it, it lands where it's supposed to stick. And being a designer, that's one of the first things I pick apart at a wrap show or a car show is you got a cool design, but man, if that fender don't roll up and match the hood, or the hood don't match the bumper, nah, it don't look right to me.
Yeah. Amateur status.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that takes a lot of time. Most of us either, like yourself, you wear all the hats. So now you have to be the designer. You have to be the installer. You have your hands in everything. So if anything was to go wrong, you know exactly what you need to do in order to fix it. A lot of these other guys where they have a designer picking out the template, working off the template, maybe not talking to the installer, which knows, hey, that quarter panel rolls hard. There's no way you're going to match that quarter panel with that bumper. It just ain't going to happen. And, trial and error, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
That's, I think, I was listening to Skeppel on,
the Rap Pod.
The Rap Pod, yeah. I listened to him this morning, and he mentioned something like that with, his shop is not a graphic design shop. They're a rap design shop. And he made it very, very clear that graphic designers can design anything. And I've ran into this numerous times with doing installs. A graphic designer creates a wrap and they've never seen the vehicle. They're just going off a template. So they're not accounting for that when back quarters of that E350 roll around, the front bumper rolls around, or they're not accounting for all of that. So they send me files that are 4 inches too short and whatnot. So as color change, color change. I won't say it's easy, but you're cutting a rectangle or a big sheet of a solid color.
Yeah, so easier.
It's easier. It's in that sense, but when it comes to your design, if you want to, to me, it's got to flow. It's got to match. It has to. That's just me personally, and I'm not saying nothing about anybody else. That's just me. That's a pet peeve for me. That's why I spend so many hours trying to design stuff and do what I do. So,
well, I like how 3M incorporated the arrows in the backer. I mean, obviously they had to do that because of the color shift, because the way it does shift, it only shifts one way. I've seen cars online on Instagram that the door don't match the quarter panel. It's like, how did you fuck that up? Like, the lines tell you where to go. Like,
oh, dude,
like what? Like, what went wrong there?
Yeah, let me tell you that blows my mind that. And it gets brought up on the Rap Society and various posts on Instagram and Facebook. Don't get me wrong, your rap might look dope, man. It could be the baddest BMW around, but how do you not know? Are you blind? How do you not notice that door is off?
Right.
Or your fender don't match your door don't match your back door don't match your quarter. How, and look, don't get me wrong, I've made that mistake. I was a tester for, my boy Marcos brought this up actually, because the first car he ever did with Rap Specialties was he tested the film the same time I did for the Avery Color Flow. We didn't, we know most metallics, directional. I tell everybody, I actually have a sign in my shop, treat all film as directional, even matte black.
Right.
So as a tester, we didn't even think about that as it being directional. Well, his first car, I think he had a reverse panel. My first car was my mom's Cadillac SUV. It wasn't the ESV or whatever, the smaller from the Escalators. And one of my doors were off. And let me tell you, that shit got changed within a week.
Right.
So there's so many other companies that repost stuff. They're like, oh, look at this dope car. Hey, look, man, it might look clean. It might be a clean install, but your door is off. Like, it's not blue. It's like, it's a whole different color. It's like, how do you not notice that shit?
To each their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's wild. It's definitely, it's crazy to see. And like I said, I treat everything as directional. I have a system, and before they even had arrows on anything, we use a film handler. It sits up exactly 10 foot from the ground. So we get on a ladder, put the roll up there. And as we cut, everything gets a yellow piece of tape or a yellow sticker on the left-hand side, or whatever color we have at the time. But we put a tab on the left side as we pull. So even my scraps that I pull are marked, so I know what direction I originally pulled that shit.
Wow.
Because Avery until recently didn't have information on the back,
Yeah, they didn't have anything at all. That's what that's what fathoms me. It's like, why didn't they have something that said Avery on the back like 3M used to have? That used to drive me nuts. It's like, why don't they have any type of marketing on there?
Yeah, they just, I think, in the last, 6 months or so, they did it.
Yeah, it's very recent that they just started marketing them, but.
And a lot of the guys that are doing that just shows you they really don't know what's going on. They don't know. They know they're buying a roll of color flow and they're laying it. They're giving their client what they want, but they're not even paying attention that the color is off or whatever. So that comes in. I won't say certifications will give you that, but that's just knowledge of the industry, but you don't know the product, you don't know the stretchability, you don't know what you can and can't do. I can buy chrome all day long. My first chrome wrap, I always say my first chrome wrap was a Lamborghini, but my really, really first chrome wrap was when chrome first came out. First, I think Justin Bieber's car, like the what was it?
The Frisca.
Frisca, yeah, the Frisca. Um, I remember searching my ass off until I found chrome vinyl somewhere online, and it came from China. And I did my Toyota. I did my jacked up my Tonka toy, and we did it in my backyard. I was so pumped up, and I didn't even go to my boy's shop at the time. I just did it in my backyard with me and my boy Wade, and it was fucking terrible. Oh my god! I was being cheap Chinese film. It was just terrible. And I ripped it off, so I don't even claim that one as my first. So my Lamborghini was my first one, but they just don't. I didn't know, and it goes back to lack of knowledge back then with Chrome. It was so new. I couldn't call up anybody. Like my boy Tate does a lot of Chrome, or Trevor and Brian. They're like the kings of Chrome now in Arizona, man. They just did a Chrome Bugatti for Barrett Jackson.
Yep, I did see that. Really hot car.
Those dudes, they beast out cars. They just.
Man, I remember back then when Chrome had just come out and there was just the Chrome. No colors, no nothing. And Tate was making these crazy Chrome colors with the transparent film overlays. I thought that was the greatest thing. I'm like, how is this dude creating this? And then I think he may have posted like a video, like I'm talking a couple years ago, or maybe a little bit further than that. And I'm like, wow, he's taking the laminator, taking the transparent film and laminating the chrome onto the transparent to make a color. Cause the green, cause I remember I think he had done like one of those dunk cars or something like that at the time. And he did this crazy chrome and everybody was just going nuts over it. It was just like, whoa, how did you get that color? And he was the only one for a long time creating those chromes, those colored chromes at least.
Yeah, and that was the only way to really get a color. Nobody was really brave enough to print on chrome back then. I know they went through a lot of trial and error because printing. I learned the hard way printing on my first time I started printing chrome on a latex. When my local shop transitioned, I literally wasted a whole roll of chrome, 75 foot. So chrome, it's got the foil base in it, and like aluminum foil, it absorbs or treats heat differently. So since you're heating, the heat levels on a solvent versus latex are different, and latex is heating right off of it. It was making the ink do weird shit. So we had to tone down the heat settings. We had to it was a lot of trial and error, but like I said, I literally blew through a whole roll before, and I may have had 10 solid good feet out of that.
That makes my heart sink.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's in my life, man.
Hey, but you know what? You made it work and you got the science down to it now. Now, you come up with your second one. Now you know where you need to be as far as heat temperature so the ink doesn't spread out. It stays put and adheres to the vinyl right where you want it to be. And, that's what separates you from, the other guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as I say, Tate definitely started a lot of that with the transparents. And I've only done one transparent overlay wrap. Everything else has either been printed or, pretty much a solid color, from the factory kind of thing. But yeah, the options too, like the Orcal, was it 8300 or 8500 or something? I mean, they have 40 colors, and then hexes at the time, which I know they use a lot of hexes, I believe. They had 30 or 40 colors too, and they had some pretty wild colors to use it. So the options go from let's see, hexes and Avery, and people, to me, new guys would remember, but 3M used to have chrome too. But you got silver, black, red, blue, and gold are the main colors that everybody would do.
Right.
But then you give the option of 40 different over laminates. You could put a green overlam over blue and make purple, or make it, so you just levels just go.
It's just a lot of film on top of film. A lot can go wrong. You know what I mean? As far as installation, I mean, you're talking that everything said and done, you're about 4 mil maybe, and then you start adding laminate. Oh my God, 6 mil? Jeez.
Yeah, probably probably more than that because I know for the Joker we tested the green and purple laminate, so you had chrome already, green and purple laminate on top, and then we actually put their silver laminate, the sparkle lamb, on top of that. So we have chrome, green, and then sparkle. And then the roof was chrome, print, and then sparkle. Yeah, so it got a little thick, man. It got, but then again, the bumpers on the Joker were, well, the bumper itself is broken into 3 pieces, and each one of those pieces are broken up into 2. There's a seam perfectly down the middle, or horizontal middle, right on the, just hid the seam in the highlight, and that's what I think a lot of people don't realize, how to seam properly,
Right. I think the game changer is when they come out with 60-inch chrome. When they
Well,
can
yeah.
when they can figure out how to make that happen, I think a lot more people are gonna buy chrome.
Well, APA has it. I believe they have it now. They're pretty expensive though. It's definitely a unique and different film to install. I've tested a lot of their film. I just tested a lot of their newer Candy stuff, what I was pretty impressed with. They said I'm blessed to be able to test for Avery and Arlon and 3M and KPMF and APA, SOT, all of these, Oracle. I'm testers for all of these people, so I get stuff hands on. And I never thought I'd be at the point where I'm getting all these free rolls and colors and cool stuff to test. But then again, like I said earlier, I get a cool color that I can't post for like 6 months.
Oh, right, yeah.
I signed a non-disclosure, but yeah, Apple has a 60-inch chrome. I haven't done much of it. I can't say I've ever done a full wrap with it. And with that said, it kind of goes back to the certification thing, because just because you watch a YouTube video, you might not know how to install Apple versus SOT, or SOT versus Hexus, and Hexus versus Avery. They're all fucking different, and
Right.
I've ruined every brand. I've had issues with every brand. They're all different. The first time I went to Hexus in Florida, actually the first time I met Skeppel, he actually picked me up and went to 201 Raps with Austin Smith's place. And picked me up from their accreditation. They didn't have a certification. It was a Hexus accredited thing. So I guess I'm still technically Hexus accredited, but they were using a torch, which I'm totally against using a torch on the color change wrap, especially on matte and satins, because you could gloss them over too quick.
Right.
But I don't care how good you are, you could be a cowboy with that torch. I remember the guy teaching the class, man. I can't remember his name, but Hexus had to be post heat at this crazy temperature, but you had to post heat quickly. Like, you laid a door panel, you had to post heat that door panel. You didn't do the panel and then do the back door and then come back later like you do with every other film.
Yeah.
You had to post heat with it. And then he grabbed this torch and man, he laid into this film, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, this car's not on fire yet. Like, I was blown away, but I would have never known that if I didn't go to that class.
Right.
So as soon as I finished, and I'm starting to push Hexus a lot and use a lot of Hexus, I told my guys, man, you got to post heat. You got to get on. Don't be afraid to get on the heat, unless it's on plastic. There's always that borderline, like, man, we're gonna start melting plastic or what?
Yeah, right.
With that said, you cannot do that with APA. You can't heat it to that level. I've done it before, and I've had issues before, and you heat it too much and it will delaminate, and I think they do have flaws. Every brand has a flaw. I've had issues with every brand on the market. And it all comes down to how they going to either make right or work with you on that issue. And like I said earlier, I want to speak for other people that might not have the connections or know the right people, but don't just instantly, like, I'd love to mention names, but too many people now, just if they have a problem, and be it their first problem or their second or third, they just instantly just go to social media because it's so natural. Social media and technology is there.
Right.
Oh man, fuck this brand, fuck that, blah 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 blah, and it's like, okay, well, what, how many variables? And I've mentioned this to one person in particular numerous times on social media. Why don't you step back and let's give everybody this scenario. Don't just say, oh, the vinyl cracked on me and this stuff's brittle or it's garbage or whatever. Okay, what temperature are you installing at? How old is your roll? Did you ever check the core? Did are you doing this, or are you doing, like, there's so many variables that could cause the film to not lay right.
Right.
Being in the South, I complain about certain brands over others because we have high humidity.
Right.
It could be 100 degrees here, 90% humidity. So I have to treat different films differently. Like KPMF, I don't personally think that's for anybody to just jump into. That can want to make you quit sometimes. But once you know it's awesome. Again, me being humidity, it is tackier where I'm at than it is in, like, let's just say New York
Right.
or even Boston because of humidity. Humidity has a big part with every brand's adhesive. It lays different and whatnot. So when I see some people, oh, screw this brand, blah, blah, blah. Well, your first mistake was bashing a worldwide company publicly. Second mistake is, now that you've done this, what are your chances of them helping you?
Slim
Why
to
don't you
none.
just
No.
slim to none? Yeah. Why don't you play it smart? No matter how pissed you off, keep battling to get to the highest person that you could talk to. Find that person and come to an agreement with them and help them make their product better.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've stressed and I've complained. I've had issues with some jobs that I don't even want to say because they ended up being some, famous or very popular jobs. But I don't even want to tell you the issues I've had with them because no matter how stressed off I was at that point, I'm like, okay, well, let me get this car done and I'll settle up with the person, the manufacturer after. Because at this point, I built up a relationship with them. They're going to make it, I'm calling Fellers and I'm buying extra rolls. I'm calling Chris at Metro and buying extra rolls. And then I'll worry about squaring up with them after. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And if I lose, I lose out. But we're all human. Machines aren't always perfect. Things do go wrong. You get bad rolls. You get this, but installing vinyl in the cold, people know that it crack like glass. If it's not, if the car's cold and the vinyl's cold, it's going to shatter. It could crack easy. Don't blame it because you pulled on it and it cracked on you. Like, dude, it's
It's the
whatever
way it
temperature.
works. It's the way it
Yeah,
works. It's knowing your product. And I always like asking everybody, what do you like working with? But everyone's got a specialty, you know what I mean, as far as what they use, and they stick to that and they know it. But then when they go use something else, they're like, damn, why is it doing this? I wouldn't get this problem if I use this product. It's like you don't know. You're not knowledgeable enough in that product. You haven't, like you said, you haven't been to a class for it or whatever the case may be. Like you said, you could go to a class and learn one thing, but that one thing could save you so much time.
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
It's just the way that it is.
and that's why I brought up APA because they make good colors, they make some good films, and I'm not trying to single out them by any means because Matea is an awesome guy, and my first couple experiences with him didn't work out to what I expected. So I never bashed him. I reached out to him and we've set up meetings. And I mean, it's just a matter of me going down there and learning from their staff. And okay, this is how you need to do it. This is a hands-on. It's easy to say stuff over the phone,
Yeah.
but you need to be hands-on. So learning ABBA from like Hexus, I would have never guessed in a million years to do what they just with that. I was just in awe when I watched that dude hit the courts like that. And then like Albert with Hexus now Albert's my boy, and he's a beast with stuff like that too. And but you can't hit Avery and 3M the same way. You can maybe hit SOT because it's a little thicker. You can't treat KPMF like that. Everyone's different. So certs or no certs, not every YouTube video is going to tell you how to treat that film.
Right.
Everybody's different. People love 3M here, but not there, or Avery here. Like, I'm an Avery guy. I'm an Avery and KPMF and Orifol guy. That's probably my top three. And I work Orifol. I work hand in hand with KPMF. I work with SOT. I work with 3M, but Avery's my Avery for the win. That's my hashtag, man. That's my go-to. And, KPMF's right there. KPMF personally, hands down, has the best finish, especially their mats that look, they're satin. They have the best finish on the market. I think the biggest thing right now in this industry is creating the newer colors and the wilder, everybody's separating from themselves. That's the biggest. But just like anything else, you keep pushing that envelope with production and creating that wildness. the product has to last too. Chrome's beautiful, but Chrome's got what, 5% stretch, maybe 7.
Yeah.
So
It's got its limitations.
yeah, it has its limitations. So that's another thing why paint won't be dead. Paint will never be dead. Painters could get butthurt for people rapping and taking their business. At the end of the day, this is one of my notes. Uh, painters that hate. Let me say this: I probably follow more paint shops than I do wrap shops
Really?
because, yeah, and I follow a lot of wrap shops, but and I'm following guys that are doing lowriders and airbrushing and like old bomber motorcycles and rat rod style stuff. But I say that because that is an artist. It takes an artist to do what you do. It takes an artist to do, artistry to do what I do, you do. And so many painters don't realize that. But at the end of the day, like I get a lot of inspiration from paint guys.
Yeah.
Because especially in a specifically say a lowrider guy, whether you like lowriders or not, if you follow a lowrider guy and you watch him lay out a hand sketch of a roof on a 63 Impala, and then he posts another picture and it shows him laying 20 layers of tape.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next picture is him laying the base, and then the second coat, and then the third coat, and then the 12th coat, and so on. And while in between those, he's pulling those tapes and giving it depth and character.
Right.
You can't learn that on YouTube.
No.
And same thing when I got a ton of lowrider guys down here. Most of them will refuse to have their car wrapped. It's like sacrilegious.
Yeah, right? They're going to get hammered by their friends.
Oh, yeah. But there's a couple real big guys down here that they know what I do. They see what I do firsthand, and they're like, yeah, I'm down with that, because at the end of the day, we could rip it off,
Right.
But it comes down to the talent and artistry. No matter what craft you're in, if you're a welder, if you do woodwork, carpentry or whatever, respect the artists, just like my guys bashing me on YouTube and, all of this stuff on social media about different cars they say I ruined because I wrap them. You know what? It's a big sticker, but I bet $1 million you couldn't put my sticker on.
Right.
It's a talent. It's an artistry. Whether you like it or not, it's
a different generation. It's not the airbrushing. I mean, the airbrushing is fading out. There's you still got the old school guys, airbrushing, and you still got the old school guys, even hand painting. In Europe, hand painting's still huge. I mean, you don't have a lot of guys here still hand painting, but I follow guys that hand paint in Europe all day long, and incredible work. Gold leafing, oh my God.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've wanted to incorporate gold leafing into my wrap, and just because I want to learn how to do that. I'm a guy that I'm building a car. I'm giving myself 3 years, hopefully, and I will have to do some welding and fabrication. I'm going to learn how to weld, and it's not because I just want to build my own car, but for little things around the shop. I couldn't tell you how many crazy gizmos and jigs and whatnot that I've built because I need to fit this certain part and take it off the car, but hold it at the same time, like mirror holders and stuff. I got crazy mirror holders and all these little holders for stuff, but I get somebody else to weld it for me. I want to be able to walk up. Okay, here's a pile of scrap metal. Let me start tacking stuff and do that. So, but yeah, it
comes in handy. What kind of car you want to build? Do you already have that?
Yes, I can't say. I will say this, and I bought it 2 days before my son Colin passed away. I bought it on a Saturday. He passed away on a Monday. He wanted to build something for me and him together. He's been apart since he was 14 and a half. He's touched pretty much every car since he was 14 and a half to the day he died. Whether it was just be it washing it or helping me reassemble it, help me lay the vinyl or whatnot. He was always part of it. So he wanted to build something. Kevin Kempf himself has never really done nothing for himself. Like I've had some cool cars. I've owned some cool cars. I've done plenty of cool cars, but man, that client stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, me and Colin, let's build something for us. It'll be for the shop too, but let's build something for us. Like that we go and cruise on the weekend. We take the car shows, not just let the client get all the fame kind of thing.
Right.
So, decided on a car that I've been wanting for a long time. Of one of my many dream cars, and I found one, and I picked it up Saturday, and so he passed away Monday, and he never got to see it, and it actually sat until almost October. Never got, I mean, literally sat in my shop, never moved since the day I brought it in the shop because of that. Once that happened, but my goal is to come back in 2020 for Rapid King, and I'm confident to say, I don't want to sound like I'm cocky or arrogant, but I'm confident in what I've done in the past. And I'll say this: it's going to be my mic drop. It's going to be my mic drop. It's going to be my retirement. It's going to be my retirement from I won't say the rap industry or to get rapping in general, but just the contest. And I made my mark with the Huracan, and I really want to shit on the Huracan. That's the kind of level I'm trying to take it to. So,
Damn.
Anybody listening, you got 3 years to bring the heat. And the only people that's ever come to my shop might see it hiding under a cover or whatever. And it's about to go get blasted. And I mean, it's going to be from the ground up, building a whole brand new frame, wheels, tires. It's going to be frame off restoration pretty much. Yeah, that's going to be me and my little one, Cody. He's going to be 17 by that time. So my goal is to bring it to SEMA. And so many times, and I think Nate brought this up on your podcast, was he was talking about doing a Replica King entry and bringing it to SEMA. So many times those cars aren't brought to SEMA.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people they want to see the cars, and I'm all for that, and I would absolutely bring my cars. There's a lot of logistics involved, but I have people right now that will give me a spot in a booth or center stage if I deliver what I'm envisioning. And if I gave my clients what I gave my clients over the last, over a decade, I know what I'm going to do for myself. I might procrastinate, I might push stuff, but if I've gone damn near mental trying to finish a design on a car, I can't imagine what I'm going to do on my own.
Right.
So, but with that said, that's going to be my mic drop. Me and my son my little one are going to finish it. But I'm bringing back former employees. I'm bringing back my boy Easy. I've already talked to him. I'm bringing back my little brother Wade. Well, I call him a little brother. He's a good friend. It's going to be a family thing. It's going to be dedicated to my son.
That's awesome.
It's going to be a family venture. My friends that build and fabricate for a living and do suspensions, they're going to help build this car. It's not going to be subbed out to, I'm not this guy with $60K laying around to just drop it up. These guys who buy these hot rods and fancy cars and they just drop them off. Oh, look, here's my checkbook, just do it. It's going to be a family venture. I want all my homies to be, even my lowrider guys to be a part of it. Kind of everybody hands on. So when we pull it out, it's going to be my weekend cruiser, and it's going to be our PG Nola shop car, and it's going to be one of a kind, man.
That's
definitely
awesome.
going to be. And to be honest with you, win or lose in 2020, or even if it's 2021, win or lose, I know what I'm about to bring to the table, and I think it's going to be over the top. It's going to be something better than I've ever done before.
Wow,
that's my mindset.
That's awesome. You're going to keep everybody on the hook for the next 2.5 years.
Yeah, I got that thing covered up, man, and I've never posted a picture of it, and yeah, I mean, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something unexpected. I can say that. So, but yeah,
man, I can't wait. Unbelievable. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that.
No problem, man.
But yeah, man, we're gonna wrap up here. I think we talked about some great stuff, as far as the industry and what's going on in your shop and what you got going on for 2018. I appreciate everything you're doing for the industry, brother, and doing everything for yourself for this year. Definitely going to be a game changer for you as a business owner.
Absolutely, man. And let me end on this thing. And like I said, since I took my notes, I'm extremely terrible about and I don't mean to do it, but since I'm ADD, I'm extremely terrible about thanking people that mention me or do things for me or just thanks in general. So if somebody makes a post and they ask a certain question or they do something, please don't be upset with me because I don't respond quick enough or don't like anything. I'm very grateful for stuff. Since my son has passed, I still haven't responded to a million emails I got and stuff like that. But I want people to know I appreciate all the love and support I've gotten over the last year. I appreciate, my boy Tate and Matt, guys like that flying in to help me. The dozens and dozens of the people in this rap industry. I'm trying to hold it together here. From literally around the world, they came in, well, offered to come in and fly in overnight and let me do my thing, and they take over and rap and help me do whatever. And these are guys that are willing to fly in and not expect payment or whatever. I mean, the the outreach was just overwhelming. So let me thank everybody listening. I mean, from Canada to Miami to the Netherlands, I mean, Brazil, all over. So I want to thank everybody that, sends me some free gear, or the tool guys, man. Like, my boys at Yellow Tools are awesome. And, I know I might not give shout outs to everybody enough, but, this is my time to finally thank everybody for everything. The people that send me, the guys, the brands that get me to test their film, the tool companies that get me to test their tools, the blades, XL Blades and Blade Cage and all these people, man. I'm thankful for everybody. Even though I might not say it, I look at my Instagram. I'll make my people don't realize. I make my post at prime time, 5, 6 o'clock, and then I might not teach that until the next day. So don't ever think that I'm ignoring you. I really appreciate everybody. And I want to say my boy Dusty at Rap Life Clothing and all, he made a post, I think like a week ago. And a couple of people mentioned me on the post when they said, who's your inspiration, or who do you mentor or look up to in the industry? Several people mentioned me. I feel terrible, Dusty, for not responding to that. So, with that said, my mentors are people like Jim Miller, John Duver, Justin Pate. Those are some that's probably the top 3 as far as mentoring, just business-wise, install-wise. But then I got guys like design-wise, like Joffrey overseas, and Skeppel is doing awesome work. And there's so many, my boy Tate and Matt and Neil and Marcos and Sharif and Bobby and all these guys in Pain's Dead and Mully. Like, these are all, Mully is the bus rap guy, man. All of those guys are guys that I look up to, and whether they will ever believe me, because when I tell them to their face, they don't. But man, you can knock out a 52-foot Prevost in 24 hours. You're a fucking beast, man.
That's awesome.
Those are the guys I look up to, and I know I'm going to miss some names, and I might get some backlash from that. But, all my Pain is Dead guys, all my Mob guys, my brothers and sisters, my girl Caroline, I think she's the best female rapper in the world. Those are all my mentors, my inspiration. Those are the ones that help me be who I am and help me pushing, because being in those two networks, whether you're in them or not, but when you're side by side with guys that you follow and you look up to, it only makes you push yourself that much harder. Because, with my Corvettes this year, Trevor and Brian from EA Raps out in Arizona, they did a vet last year. Fucking flawless, badass vet. It was at SEMA. Everybody saw it. I didn't know I was doing vets this year. It just kind of fell in my hands. I knew I had to meet or beat that. And my goal wasn't to beat Trevor. My goal was, I know what he did. It has to be like that or better, because, I mean, we're going to go up against each other for the contest. So with having guys like that, just everybody needs to stop hating on each other. And, whether you like each other or somebody said this or said that, man, just get over that shit. Because look, if somebody's I disagree with people that I know are good installers.
Right.
Get over it. Be a team, be a family. Let's build this. Let's get rid of all these little chop shop dudes doing these $1,200 raps and doing garbage work. Let's set a standard. Let's, like you said, with being certified for being a mechanic and, this and that, electrical guy. Like, I wish there could be a standard for that shit, for the rap industry.
Yeah.
But man, let's all help each other. Everybody listening has probably helped me one way or another, whether you know it or not. Like I said, the outreach from my son, just the support. So I'm thanking everybody right now. And, to hear Nate talk about me, I even texted him while I was listening to it. I said, dude, you almost had me tearing up. Like, I'm an emotional dude, to mention my name as much as you did. And then, like, boys like my boy Derek, and I'm going to ruin his last name. But Derek from Canada with I think it's Re-Raps. Met him a couple of years ago in Canada. Awesome kid, up and comer. That's the thing. That's people like Derek and people like Nate, man. That they have that passion, they have that drive, and I know a lot of good guys, up and comers, are doing incredible raps, but these two guys I could speak personally of seeing their raps hands on. Everybody can post a cool picture on Instagram, so shout out to those two. Very impressed with y'all guys. Y'all are gonna be something in the industry if y'all keep pushing like y'all are. And so thanks everybody else for everything, every bit of support. Before my son, just if it wasn't for everybody pushing and supporting me, I wouldn't be where I'm at. PG Nola wouldn't be where I'm at. And if y'all haven't noticed, I don't say I a lot. I always say we, because whether PG Nola is a one-man show or not, PG Nola is a company. PG Nola is a brand. There is more than one person here, be it one installer or one designer or not. It's not about me. It's about my company. It's about this company. It's about us. It's not about I. So I'm not going to sit here and say I every 5 minutes, every 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, definitely. And to talk about like people extending their branch and helping you out. I mean, this is why I love the network. You surround yourself with a great group of industry people, and when you're down in times, they're the first ones to call you, lend a hand, help out. I've noticed that personally in my just in my few years. I mean, it's only been 14 years, but I've extended out to many people. People have extended out to me, tough times or whatever the case may be. And it might not be all about the raps. It might be personal stuff, and they know that. They come to see you and, they ask, what's going on? Everything all right? Can I help? It's just why I love this community and this network. Everyone's willing to help one another out. And you got to give love to everybody. That's what it is. At the end of the day, everyone just love each other. Everyone help each other out, and let's grow this community to be bigger than what it is now.
Absolutely. And I think I listened on Trish. Trish is from
Trish Dill from
yeah,
WePrint.
Yeah, we don't know. And she said it's all about the industry growing and helping each other. And same exact thing you said, man. Just it's so new in a lot of senses, even though I've been in it for 13 years. But man, it's got so far to go. Just imagine. I know what I tested 3 years ago. Like imagine 3 years from today.
Right.
Like where like so that car I'm building for me and my son. I have all kind of ideas now. Those ideas ain't gonna happen in 3 years.
Right. You can think of something totally different.
Materials, films, and whatnot. And Chuck actually asked me about this. I know we got to go, but Chuck asked me about this the other day, yesterday, or the day before. Some company in I think Germany, Foil something's been posting this crazy BMW with this thermo looking like this crazy black but crazy neon color wrap at the same time.
Yeah.
And I tested that like 3 or 4 years ago from one of the manufacturers that make it, and people don't realize this. I've seen it at SEMA the last 3 or 4 years. Nobody pays attention to it because you only see it in little swatch books and whatnot. But I tested that, so I was like, and when Chuck asked me, he's like, "Didn't you have something like this?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I pulled up the picture, and you know what? It was tested on a Joker 3 years ago.
Come on.
It was the Joker, and I keep telling myself, I've been asked, and Chuck said the same thing. We've been asked like a dozen times in the last week since that dude first posted that picture. Can we get this film? Get this film? Get this film? I told him, and I told somebody that called me this morning for that color. I'm like, I'm gonna repost the Joker video from 3 years ago just to show. Like, I think my post was like, it's not there yet, but the future of raps is gonna be insane. And I posted that 3 years ago for that same film that this company is just getting. Now,
Wow.
I can't say 100% it's the same exact film, but I'm pretty damn sure it's the same film.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so with that said, here's to everybody. I hope everybody has a great 2018, man. Everybody kick ass. Just don't get the hate out your heart, man. I don't want to sound like a preacher here, but losing a 17-year-old son 3 weeks before he graduated high school and starting pre-med, that changes me. It changed my life, and I've always kicked ass and went over, above and beyond for my clients. Now, family, clients. And it's all about making the best for the rest of my life, man.
Definitely. Yeah. Family has got to come first no matter what. I can't imagine what that felt like. I've got 3 little ones myself. That's got to be a hard thing to go through. you know.
And I'm sorry, I've brought it up so many times.
No, no, no. You know what? At the end of the day, it's a touchy subject, and you know, you get me teary-eyed because all I can think about is my kids, and you know, at the end of the day, we're all human, and we're all, you know, just in this world living, you know, and sometimes we lose sight of certain things, and sometimes little things like this just kind of put you in reality a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you can't take things for granted, and you can't, you know, there's always, you know, there's not always tomorrow. And
Yeah, that's the main thing. You know, like I said, I bought a car Saturday hoping to show my son when he showed up from school Monday after, every day like 3:30 on clockwork, he showed up. So, in a matter of a moment's time, like a split second, I lost my son. So I'm treating that with everybody else. So somebody I hate, but I know was a good person or a great installer, or I don't say hate, but just like, you know what, if I lost them, if something tragic happened to them, like I'd really be upset, like I'm not gonna sit there like, oh well, yeah, he was still a piece of shit, man. Like I'm not like that, that's just not how I am. And people that really know me and has talked to me, they know. I mean, I've been usually every year I do decals for Autism Month, give proceeds to the local autism thing. I'll do breast cancer stuff. Now stuff with my son, it just there's so much. Yeah, life goes on, but no need to keep just it's so many things. And my son has that's why I say I'm sorry I keep mentioning. Just he's a
no,
big part of this.
don't be sorry. That's nothing to be sorry about.
He's a big part of the shop, and I'll say this: and my three helpers, well, my youngest son Cody, and my two helpers can definitely testify to this. It's I've never believed in spiritual stuff and ghosts and all this kind of stuff. I believe in a presence now. And my father passed away when I was 19 years old, so I had to do the hard road and quit college and help my mom pay bills, and then I finally went back to college, all that kind of stuff. And I think both of them are here in the shop sometimes. Certain shit happens around the shop. It's kind of weird. And one of them in particular, and I actually did a video of this and posted it on Facebook. All three of my boys were working here during Thanksgiving this past year, and I had this 18-inch Soren Vega earthquake subwoofer in the shop. So it's hooked up to a DJ amplifier, only plays bass. That's it. And the rest of the signal goes through the rest of the speakers. Well, as I'm working, my shop's 5,000 square foot. I'm working around the middle. They're working in the very back. And we all keep hearing this other sound. So I'm like, guys, do y'all hear this? Like it's a whole different song. So I went to go turn the stereo off or pause the iPod, and thinking it was the next door neighbor, and it wasn't them. Well, the subwoofer is playing a whole different song by itself. So I put the iPad back on. I'm like, dude, two songs playing completely. Like, how is my subwoofer playing a whole different song? I don't even have an antenna hooked up to the stereo. It strictly plays an iPod. That's it. I told my guys, and they start panicking. They're like freaking. They're like, dude, you got like ghosts in here or something? So like, what's up? I'm like, I don't know, but let's play it. What song is this? And I shit you not, my boy Davin used Shazam, that little app Shazam that tells you what song it is, and put it by the speaker, and it played clear enough that Shazam picked it up. And it was a Tevin Campbell song called I Want to Talk to You or Come Talk to Me. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, so that was the first song. My son liked Taylor Swift at one point in his life. The next song was a Taylor Swift song.
Oh man.
The third song, and this is probably the hardest one to say, and I haven't really put it out there, but my son took his own life. He fought with depression and whatnot. But there's a song, I don't know who the artist, it's a new popular song, comes on the radio all the time, but the name of the song is a 1-800 number for like the suicide awareness hotline.
Right.
And it's the name of the song, but he don't really say the number in it, but that was the third song. So those three songs playing from a speaker, and at this point the stereo is off, the iPod is off, and the speaker is playing by itself, and we recorded it, and we all freaking out. Since that date, it does it at least twice a week now. Randomly plays, and sometimes it's loud when you're at a distance, and when you get close, it goes low. And then my youngest one, Cody, he's been working here for, I don't know, maybe a month and a half now. He said he wanted to follow his brother's footsteps. He's big into cars. He loves this. He's learning. I'm teaching him from the ground up. The first 3 days he was here, when he left, when his mom Kelly picked him up, when they left, they weren't even out the driveway yet. And that same Suicide Awareness song came on the second they left that shop.
Wow.
Is it coincidence? Maybe. Is it my son trying to say something? Possibly. And
Possibly.
look, there's that kind of shit changed how my perspective on things. Like I said, I'm not trying to be spiritual. I'm not spiritual. I don't believe in one thing over the other, but I believe in a presence of something, and people are trying to let you know they're there and they're caring and stuff. Because I've had some really shitty days, and then when I'm at my lowest point, like ready to throw my knife through the wall, or start kicking shit, like my favorite 12 songs come on, like just back to back to back to back, my favorite songs. I'm like, okay, coincidence? Yeah. But the speaker thing really tripped me out. Some clients have heard it. My son's heard it. Colin's mom, Kelly's heard it. Like it's pretty trippy. Like I said, and then it doesn't always happen. So
Yeah, I'm a big believer in a big spiritual thing like that. I've had certain things. I had cousin of mine passed away recently as well, and certain songs come on when you think about that person, turn on the radio, it's like, damn, that song really reminds me of that person. You know what I mean? I'm a big believer in that, and no matter what, man, I know he's looking down on you, him and your dad, and you just gotta keep going for them.
oh yeah, no doubt. And I told Justin Fay asked me when he interviewed me at SEMA, he's like, so you asked me about my inspiration, what do I do it for? And it brings up the subject of what people tell me to say, and I won't say to say, but represent the industry as younger guys in the industry as a whole. And I want to make this clear to everybody. I don't do a lot of stuff I do to beat you or the other guy. I do a lot of stuff for PG Nola because I'm trying to one up myself. It's an internal battle to one up and do better than the next time. If you don't keep pushing yourself, you're going to be just a generic cookie cutter kind of thing. So when Rap Like a King came around this year, me and Exotic, PG Nola and Exotic, posted our stuff, and along with a slew of other incredible freaking raps from around the world, somebody made a post on Rap Society and said, "Oh well, what do y'all think of the entries?" And then all kind of people like, "Well, if one person, I don't remember who it is, said, if you don't have a PG Nola or an Exotic car, there's no sense in entering." The other people, and I'm serious, it's still up there, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I agree, man. PG Nola Exotic, PG Nola Exotic." And I commented, I'm like, "Look, guys, I'm doing a client vehicle. You act like I'm trying to beat you just to beat you. Like I'm doing something for a client. I'm getting paid to do my job." Some of these are in this is where it comes into people wanting me to speak for them. When people are doing full builds, you can't blame that person for doing a full build. When my boy came with the Lamborghini and we put a $25,000 body kit on it and powder coated each wheel 3 different, like if he told me to build a car, I'm building a car.
Right.
He's paying for it. Now, with that said, and Nick from Exotic, this is nothing against you, brother. I do think, and like I said, I'm speaking for a mass amount of people in this industry. I do think as an Avery Robin King winner and runner-up winner, I do think they need to change up the Robin King contest to a point because, Exotic, and I've told this to Nick before, we've had a great heart-to-heart at SEMA this year. It's coming down, like, this year he was in my shoes when I built the Joker.
Right.
I went and had to build a car to one up the Lamborghini. He had to build a car to one up his Rat Rod. I totally get where he's coming from. His design and labor and the work that went into that Volkswagen, no matter how many people say I should have won, in my heart, I could be dead. I told Nick, and I could show you the email. I said, dude, if they hand me that trophy, I'll probably turn around and hand it to you. And he's like, you shit me. And he asked me after it was all done. I said, yes, because I know what templating takes. I know what it took to do 18 layers of whatever to make wood grain and to wrap every single square. Like, I know what that takes. I did a chrome wrap and I did layers, but not like that. So it's a lot. But at the same time, all of my cars have been for clients, paying clients. So, like I said, I'm not trying to discredit what Nick and Exotic do, but and I'm speaking for many, many people in this industry. I do think they need to separate and have shop vehicle category maybe,
Yeah.
and a client vehicle category. Because as long as a shop that makes good, it does very well for themselves, like Exotic or PG Nola or my boy Sharif, and as long as you have that endless bank account, what's going to stop you from really spending 600 hours on a car?
Right.
And it's highly respectable. The talent, and let me emphasize, the talent it took for fucking Nick and that team to do what they do, not every shop can do.
Right.
That's why not every shop will ever be able to be like to do that. Not everybody has 8 to 10 guys. Not everybody has like outsourcing. Not everybody has in-house printers and stuff like that. So, it becomes if it's becoming a build, I think the third, now if it becomes building a car, there needs to be there needs to be some criteria to minimize and I'm not talking about just putting wheels and tires and shit like that, but building a car, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
like something you see in SEMA, like a legit built car, inside,
yeah,
outside, undercarriage, everything.
yeah, and this is honestly probably backfiring on what I just told you about coming in 2020 and building my own car, because I'm kind of contradicting myself. But if they change the rules next year, that's fine. I'm gonna do what I have to do, and I'm not into that car, but I'm still gonna drop it and drop my mic in 2020. So I do think they need to change up some stuff. And with Avery, I love y'all. I just think when it comes to building it, and me and Sean Tomlin, after Nick won last year, we both grabbed him right on stage and we're like, dude, now you're in our shoes, because me and Sean are the only two that PG Nola and Designer Raps are the only two that's going three-peat. And like, now you're in our shoes, and you know how much stress Kevin went through to try to beat the Huracan?
Yep.
Now you have to do that. So for Nick and them, man, if they got to come back this year and be a three-peat, I don't even want to be in their shoes. And I can go against them. Hey, I know I have some dope cars coming in this year. As of right now, I want to take 3 years off from the contest. But at the end of the day, if I do what I have in mind for the cars, like, yeah, I might enter it, but I'm not building. I can say this: I'm not building or designing or printing or installing a wrap intentionally for Replica King for the next 3 years. Will I enter a car that looks damn good? Probably so, but it's not like the Joker. There will never be another Joker until I drop my car in 3 years. So, to those guys that say they're discouraged or they're intimidated or they will never enter a contest because of companies like PG Nola or Exotic, man, if you keep thinking that, just don't rap no more, man. Don't try. Why? What's the point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're limiting yourself to that because you've set the bar so high. Now they're afraid to even get to that level.
And if they listen in, they can go back to early in our conversation when I told you what Marco said. I built a car for my client. I wrapped a car for my client. I did my fucking job. End of story.
That's it.
You never know what that car. I didn't know the day after we pulled that car out of that shop. We had no idea what that was going to become. We all posted on social media, got on our third flight to RapsCon. By the time we landed, it went viral. It was crazy. Everybody's, talking to us about it, but we had no idea. So if I can tell all y'all young guys, man, don't just go for it, dude. Try it. What's it? If you don't win a regional, if you don't win a continent, if you don't win a king, that doesn't make you any less of a rapper by any means. That doesn't, because you know what? You're still getting your name out there. You're still showing people what you can do. And you know what? You might have that client in your little town in Iowa or Minnesota, wherever you're from. You might have that client that sees that and shows that. And you know what? It's enough for him. So don't look at it as if you don't have this kind of car, you're never going to be something, because you got people like Nate and Skeppel did that, is all chrome, and like he went all out. He has a passion and he's not going to give up, and he's going to do a truck this year or a vehicle. He's going to have that shit at seamless. So, if you keep pushing, there's no telling where you go. I never thought 13 years ago I would be doing what I'm doing. And I get to touch and sit in and drive and play around in cars that I used to have posters of on the wall,
Right.
I didn't think I'd be in a Lamborghini. I never thought I've done, 10 Lamborghinis in my life. I used to have a Countach, Diablo post on my wall when I was a kid. Never thought I would be able to drive one or, twin turbo Superleggera with 1,250 horsepower. Like, come on, man. Like,
We have the coolest job, man. We definitely do. And I think people don't really understand.
oh no, absolutely. They don't, and, it's awesome. I mean, I don't know what else I would do. If I had to guess, I'd probably be like a fabricator and I'd still build stuff because I'm artistic. And now, like I said, my car is a canvas. So, whether it's welding or carpentry, my dad was a carpenter, on top of amongst many other traits. But, it's an art. I love what I do. And I said it earlier, I stress out the Corvettes. I was pulling my hair out. I was here for I literally stayed at the shop I slept at the shop. Got 2 or 3 hours, jump back on it. Time lapse the whole thing. One man, 2 chrome cars, and killing myself. When them clients, man, when I open up that bay door and roll those bastards out, man, that smile, that hug, that holy fuck from the clients.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it. That paid for everything, man. So.
Yeah, definitely know that feeling for sure.
So we'll end on that. I know we're running late. We like 3 hours.
Yeah, we're getting there. I said that an hour ago. We're at 2:30 now. 2 hours and 30 minutes. You're beating Chucky. He's gonna give me shit for this.
No, don't worry about Chucky. You can post every bit of this, man.
Yeah, this was great, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me for a little bit and sharing your stories. It's incredible, and I honestly can't wait what this year brings you and everything. And you're a humble dude. I haven't met you, but man, I could tell in your voice you're a humble guy, and I have much respect for you, and I love everything that you're doing for the industry right now.
Thank you, man. I sincerely appreciate you having me on and taking the time to talk to me, even though I tend to ramble on sometimes. But
never.
My center is just about finished with this LC 500, this Lexus, which is incredible. And my boy just finished washing this little Volkswagen Bug I did. I got a Volkswagen Bug in the Jeep that I had by Friday, so he just finished cleaning everything. And let me get out there and get back to work, man. And
don't forget to post those pictures. You still got time for tonight. Get up to speed with the social.
Well, it's 8 o'clock my time, so it might be a little too late for me to post, but I'll have to knock one out at like 7 in the morning.
There you go.
Kind of do my, I know Adam said there's no such thing as a time thing, but I personally noticed a difference. But I could definitely probably do better in my marketing with social media. But again, I'm a one-man show, dude. It's at the end of the day, man. It's really not that important. If I'm booked at 2 weeks into February already, can I use more work? Yeah, but how much longer can you keep pushing clients away? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got to wait 2 months now. You got to wait 3 months. Some clients will wait. Yeah, I don't. I'm overwhelmed as is, so I'm happy where I'm at.
That's it, man. Well, let everybody know where they can find you social media wise. And I know you said you got your website getting built right now, but you got a landing page. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, we do have a little splash page. It's just pgnola.com. Of course, we have the Facebook page. Slowly but surely re-adding the photos. It was actually hacked about 3 years ago by I can't even say, but somebody crazy. And it's hacked. So we literally lost 7 to 8 years of Facebook messages, photos, videos, etc. posts. So as far as our PG Nola Facebook, PG Nola Facebook, PG Nola at PG Nola Instagram. We got a Flickr, a Tumblr, a Twitter, a YouTube, pretty much everything. Updates on Facebook. Try to do that fairly often. And then YouTube. So right now we're looking at over 200 time-lapse videos that we've compiled over the last year or two that we're working on composing. So those will be up hopefully within, I'm giving myself 3 months, my little guy, 3 months to finish those up. So, but yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are probably our top three. But everything's PG Nola, man.
Awesome. Kevin, thanks so much for coming on the podcast, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
I want to thank Kevin for taking the time out today to talk to us for a little bit on the podcast. This episode is sponsored by The Rap Promoter, featuring raps, graphics, designs, and tools from around the world. To see more, follow at The Rap Promoter on Instagram and Facebook. For features and advertising, email rap.promoter@mail.com. I want to take a second to thank all my listeners and supporters as well as sponsors of the podcast. I really appreciate all your support. And if you could, please share, like, and subscribe this podcast if you like what you're hearing. It really helps us out ranking on iTunes. And don't forget, we are also on Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and now on YouTube. Please go to our YouTube page at All Wrapped Up Podcast and subscribe to that. We'll be posting some videos soon. Till next time, that's a wrap.